Hello, family, and welcome. This is Dr. Kia Pruitt. It's so good to see everybody. Today is Sunday. It is December the 28th, 2025, and the time is 2:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check in, family. We have a few things to discuss. Let us know who you are, how you're doing, and where you're hailing from. Stay tuned. I'll be right back in just a few minutes.
Shining wisdom's light, teaching soul tribe how to see through the night. Ancient scriptures and bloodlines she knows, spreading truth wherever she goes. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Through her channel, knowledge flows, breaking chains that hold us close, teaching paths to abundance and wealth, guiding others to free themselves. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. From currencies to investments divine, she's helping her tribe to realign with wisdom, ancient and new, showing what we all can do. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia lights the way to a new and brighter day.
Greetings, Soul Tribe. It's so good to see everybody. Welcome. A grand rising, great rising. Happy Sunday, family. I am so happy that everybody is here. Keep checking in. I know you probably haven't seen me. I don't think you saw me yesterday, but we had a private meeting yesterday with our special membership group. If you want to join, you can click the join button on any of my videos or just go to my main page on YouTube and just hit the join button. Over there, we talk about investments, foreign currencies, silver and gold, some of the things we talk about here too, but it's a small group where we talk more in depth about those things. And yesterday, our sister Sheila, one of our very what do you call it, tenured members actually shared with us information about banking protocols for foreign currency exchanges. So that was good. On yesterday, we did that. And here I am back today. So today, I want to talk about just briefly how the landscape of our country and our world is completely changing. As you all know, there has been a plot to just destroy the race of the human populace. I don't know if some people say don't say human, but I mean natural man, natural woman, just us all over the planet. And it leads me to believe or to know that maybe some of these entities that are running the world are not human. I know that sounds a little crazy, a little out there, family, but I don't know. Something just feels a little off about what's been going on and what's been allowed to occur in America. Hello, Jeffrey Short. It's good to see you. I know you're still holding on to your copper. So, family, it just leads me to wonder what's been going on. Now, if you want to join a private group, there is the link right here. We'll talk about foreign currencies there again and some other things. Gold backs. How do you know if gold backs are accepted in your state? How to barter in your state? How to barter and use silver and gold to buy local goods and services, etc. Here in a private membership group. But yeah, it kind of makes me feel like something sinister is going on when you think about how anybody could harm children. Anybody could participate in organ harvesting, blood harvesting, child hunting parties. This just doesn't sound like human nature. You know, we have a soul, we have a heart, we have feelings, we emote, we care about people, we love. So how is it that this earth has been allowed to be enslaved by some type of energy or beings that are harvesting our energy? When you read some of the books like Terra Infinita and others like it, they will tell you that there are land masses outside of the dome that covers America, or land masses beyond the ice walls. And it tells you Mars is over there, and many other places, that ancient, what they call it, the Republic of the Ancestry Republic is over there, celestial lands, all type of lands outside of the ice walls, and how some of these beings have, even the Anunnaki and some giants, have come into our earth realm and enslaved humanity and waged war against us. And according to these books, what has happened is we've had many resets. The reset was to harvest as much as of the human energy as you can, and do a lot of investigations on them, a lot of experimentations on them, to discover or try to find out what is that God spark, what makes the human being different from these other beings that are outside of the ice walls that we call America, outside of this dome. So they've been doing experimentation. They've been doing a lot of eating of our blood and our organs, and doing a lot of sexual rituals and stuff to become a part of us, to take on some of our DNA and our likeness, to figure out how it is that we're so different. We're so close to God. We're so close to source. How is it that we could fly? We could teleport. We could speak and think and do telepathy without speaking out of our mouths. How is it that we're so amazing beings? How we can create and co-create by just thinking. And we still have those powers, but what happened is these beings have put programs in place and systems in place to help us to forget. And other things that they put in place, like cutting the umbilical cord, because when they cut the umbilical cord in the hospitals, what they do is they sever the child from the mother, and all the ancestral memories and all the psychedelic memories and all the different powers that the child had when they were on the other side that come through the umbilical cord is cut off, and the child forgets all of that. The child forgets the reason that he or she came. The child forgets the mission. The child does not remember when they were on the other side what they said they would come to do and experience. The child forgets all the other life experiences that they've had before they came through the portal. So these doctors are trained to cut the umbilical cord instead of allowing the umbilical cord to completely detach from the mom itself when it's supposed to. So it makes you wonder, what is going on? What is this plot? Why are these entities here? Who's in these hospitals? Who's in the courtrooms? Why do we have courtrooms? Who's in these institutions of education? Why are they here? What is their agenda? Who is leading the government? So when you think about the statement that I made, or thesis that there may be other beings here on this planet controlling the earth plane, it really makes sense. So they cut off the umbilical cord of the child when they come here. They slap and assault the child to make sure it's alive, like as if the child doesn't have a brain on its own. They put certain things in the child's eyes. They immunize the child, shoot the child up, give the mother all type of shots, take away the placenta with all the blood in the veins and the ancestral memory that's in the placenta. We think they're throwing away, but they're harvesting it for themselves, these entities. We've had about 7 different resets, and these entities thought we were about to have an 8th one, but everything is changing. Everything is shifting. Sheikh Jacob Bey told us, you see that there's a reversal happening. Thank you. There's a reversal happening where everything is shifting, family. The landscape of our countries are changing. The landscape of our systems are changing as well. But they assault the child from the time the child enters the womb. And that made me think, because now we see like child mortality rates still increasing. SID, sudden infant death syndrome, which probably isn't natural. Some of it may be natural, and some of it may be what they're shooting up the mothers with and the children, the babies in the womb, and what they're doing once you deliver a child and they take the child away. We don't know what they're doing to our children, right? So not only do we see an increase in child death, but haven't you noticed that over the last few years, people go to the hospital and they don't come back? People go to nursing homes and they don't come back. They might just have a stomach ache or an issue and they don't come back. What's going on? Now, historically, people classified as Black, African Americans, we've been leery of doctors for a long time. So I worked at a medical school, and I know that there was a mass push towards programs and funding and dollars to go into the Black community to try to recruit people to come back to see doctors, dentists, and nurses to preserve their life. But it wasn't just Black people, it was also poor white people in the rural communities, because poor white people in the rural communities, of people classified as white, also didn't trust doctors. And the poor Black people didn't trust doctors, and the indigenous people and the reservations didn't trust doctors. So there was a massive campaign to go and recruit people to come back into the hospitals, come back and to see doctors, dentists, nurses, etc. Now, I'm all for healthcare and natural medicine and having surgeries when you need them and being, getting whatever you need to happen to your mouth. But why was this agenda so critical and so crucial in medically underserved areas? I worked for a medically underserved office. There's a lot of money pushed in trying to recruit people. Come in and see your doctor. Come on for your checkups. And I believe in checkups now, don't get me wrong. But there's been an increase of people going to nursing home and doctors and not coming out. And now people classified as Black and rural whites have been saying this for a long time. But because they were considered poor, nobody would listen. But after 2020, we saw it happen, right? Then we see an increase in a resurgence of people going into hospitals, people taking their immunizations, and people going to the nursing homes, not coming back. And it made me think, who is running the hospitals? Who is running the nursing homes? Who is running the law, the legal system? Who is running the government? Who is running the educational system? So I said, let me look at this, because just this morning, somebody that we knew went to the hospital, routine checkup, and didn't come back. And I'm like, this is getting out of pocket. It's getting out of hand. Things are supposed to be getting better. Not to even mention that my husband went into the hospital and didn't make it out. And they tried to keep me from going in there to see him until, and, you know, I had to fight to get the 8 children and myself to get him out off the respirator that they put him on, even though I told them not to. They put policy enforcers or police officers at the door to try to bar entrance. So I couldn't, and my children couldn't go in there to see him. COVID was over. But it was right after COVID. It was over. But they had policies in place that said you cannot go in and visit your family members. So who is running the policies? Who is creating the policies, family? I hear you. Somebody said, I'd rather die before going to an American hospital after the CV-19. Oh, they showed us who they were and what they were up against, what they were doing. So, you know, I was like, a lot of Americans have come to not trust, you know, the system, so to speak, over the years. Thank you for getting your order from Miles Franklin Precious Metals today. A lot of Americans have been waking up, and they knew a lot of Americans and a lot of people. I don't care what skin complexion you are, whether you know, you're people from European descent or you're African American classified, but you're, you know, original American. If you come from a reservation, you from the rural community. A lot of us have become really, really concerned and wonder who is running the system. And we started separating ourselves. So I said today, let me look and see what's going on. Especially since I've been studying and reading about all these different resets that these beings have done where they completely annihilated the human race. And so the beings that were on the other side of the ice walls that don't emote, don't have any feelings, to them, it doesn't, you know, they're just being who they are. They might not be bad entities, but they came over here. They would have floods. They were famines. They will use their weaponry, whatever they could, to annihilate most of their population. And then they will also take the organs and the blood. Why? Like, and who's running the funeral homes? Have you ever noticed that the people that own funeral homes, I don't care what community they're in, are Masons? I'll be quiet. I want you to look and see who run and own these funeral homes. They're Masons. They are Freemasons. And if they're Black, they're Boule Freemasons. And they're pastors. And what are they doing with your body when you are deceased? What are they doing with your body when they do autopsies? Who's getting paid to do the autopsy? What secret society is he or she a part of? What happens to the body? What happens to the organs? Why do you have to pay somebody to bury your loved one when they are deceased? We need to bring back our ancestral ancient rituals of preserving the body for ourselves. And that's where we're going back to. The landscape of the whole planet is about to be reversed. It's about to change. No more funeral homes, no more stealing our family bodies. We're just going to have to learn how to preserve the bodies of our loved ones ourselves. No more birthing at the hospital. Who owns the hospitals? On what land is the hospitals? What's going on underground in the hospitals? What kind of labs are going on in the hospitals? What type of research dollars is going into cancer and all these so-called cures for decades? And yet there's not been one cure. Every time they create a disease, they also know the cure, but they keep it away from you and pour research dollars into these things and never tell you of a cure. So these entities that came here to enslave the planet know that there's something special about you and me. They know there's something special in our blood, something special in the DNA, something special about that God spark that we have, family, soul family. We have souls. They don't. So they would annihilate us, drink our blood, take our organs, mate with our women. They had whole labs underground where they would inseminate themselves into the women and cause women to bring about children, some that have souls and some don't. And this is what I mean by we've got to take accountability for some stuff that has happened and know where our children are, know where your wives are, your husbands, your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents that get sent off to the nursing home. And a lot of them are being mistreated. I know because my family they're in the medical profession. They told me when my husband was going through rehabilitation, be there every day. If he's learning how to walk, you go there and teach him how to walk. But even there are something, as much as I did and as hard as I worked, took my fingers to the bone. I had every medical person I could and every person praying. I even went to see priests in Africa. I even called on, my sons called on priests in South America. And we prayed and we changed his diet and we got a nutrition and we preserved his life for 20 years. But one time, when I turned my back to go get some rest, they put him on a respirator, hauled him off to a hospital. Even though I said, call me if I'm on all the documents. This is commercialized. When you're not looking, they put them right on a respirator, whatever that thing machine is they call. And then they call me then after they put them on a respirator. But who's running the whole system? You know, this made me think about how in 2009, I met a gentleman that was a medical doctor. He had some family, his bloodline was from Europe and from a Latin American country. And his people were born in America, but his bloodline were from different places. And I don't know why he told me that, but he did. And he wanted to move and do business in the Caribbean. And that's where I came to learn about some of the Caribbean countries, and he wanted to do business there. But he said, I asked him, we were Facebook friends and we used to talk on the phone. He liked me. And I would ask him why, we were part of this community, like healing community. And I asked him, why do you want to leave the medical profession? And he told me, he said, I worked hard to get into medicine. I paid my debt. He said, but once I started going up in medicine, he said, I noticed that there were a lot of things that were going on there that I don't agree with. He said, and there's a lot of things going on in those hospital laboratories downstairs in those cold dungeons in the basements. Some of those things look like closets, and janitor closets are not janitor closets. There's a lot of experimentation going on in the hospitals. There's a lot of research and development going on in the hospitals. There's a lot of dollars being poured into there. There's a lot of sinister stuff going on in the hospital and the medical profession that I cannot tell you about, but it scared me and I got to go, he said. So I thought, wow, research labs, experimental. He said, yeah, you wouldn't know that they're in the basement. Right where, but near cafeteria where we eat, it's a lot of stuff going on in those closed doors. He said, it's cold and dark in those institutions for a reason. Certain entities cannot live in the sun. Certain entities thrive underground. So you wonder why the military is exploding and blowing up deep underground military bases. And some of those aren't military bases. Some of those are underground facilities where harvesting of souls and bodies are happening and trafficking of children and adults are occurring. So we got to do our due diligence and do a better job of taking care of our people. So I said, you know what? A lot of Americans were starting to wake up, and a lot of people, already in underserved areas were like, nope. And that's why they had programs called PEP programs. It was a preparatory education, pre-professional something at University of Louisville. And we had the African Americans office and the underserved office. I can't remember, AHEC or something like that. These acronyms for offices that recruited minorities, tribal people, and rural medically underserved Caucasian students. Then it got to a point, to become doctors. They wanted them to become doctors because they wanted the doctors to recruit African Americans to start coming into the hospitals, to start coming to see dentists, to start coming to see their practitioners. They wanted to start recruiting rural white students to start coming. So if you recruit the doctors that look like them, then the people in those communities will start feeling comfortable coming. And I get it. It looks benevolent. But when you know who's working behind the scenes and you see what their agenda was to find out what your DNA is, your blood type is, they want to know your blood type because they're looking for the people and the souls that were coming back to liberate humanity. They want to know your blood type so they can look and see who they should mate with. I'm talking about these entities to prolong their life. And prolong the life of their hybrids. They were looking for the messiahs, so to speak. It's wild out here in these streets. But here in America, I'm an American. People were waking up like, I don't trust doctors. I don't trust the FBI, the CIA. I don't trust the lawmakers. I don't trust the police officers. I don't trust the court system. You know, I don't trust it because it just don't look like these people have the best interests, our best interests at heart. So I said, let me look at some statistics. And I noticed that they stopped hiring a lot of Americans and they started hiring a lot of foreigners. Have you ever noticed that? Why are they hiring a lot of foreigners? Now, look, that's none of my business when it comes to who should be a doctor and who shouldn't be. But why is it that we did brain drain? We drew the intellect from other countries over here into America. So I said, let me look at the statistics and see what's going on here in America. Let's look at the dentists. Article, Immigrant Healthcare Workers in the Unit. Nearly 2.8 million immigrants worked in the United States healthcare sector in 2021, representing disproportionately high shares of physicians, surgeons, and home health aides. You mean to tell me that Americans don't know how to take care of their own people? Why was the American government, the United States of Incorporated, that's not our American Republic? Why is it that the United States incorporated the group of bloodline families that incorporated themselves in 1871 and made themselves a nonprofit religious organization with the Pope, who is probably not even human? We've seen them popes shapeshift with the Pope as their leader. Why is it that the United States Incorporated recruited so many immigrant workers as if we can't take care of our own people here in America? I'm just asking a question. You mean to tell me that now I understand them recruiting people from the rural communities, Black communities, blah, 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 but I still don't trust it. But now we're not even recruiting people from the African-American community. We're not even recruiting the people from the tribal, the Huts and the what they call Native Americans, which, you know, the people that came from Asia, that came through the Bering Strait, that are now classified as Native Americans, but they're really Asians, right? But still, they would try to recruit. They're not even doing it anymore. They're not even recruiting the rural white students anymore because those people were waking up. Now they're recruiting foreign people. Why? Somebody help me understand why. Thank you, Brother Jermaine, for the Cash App blessing. I appreciate you so much. I'm just asking a question. And I'm not done. Let me get on out of here. We're just asking questions today. So what else is interesting or peculiar when it comes to the landscape in America and how they allow so many people to come and infiltrate our landmass? What about teachers? Of the estimated 8.1 million teachers in the United States, approximately 857,200 are immigrant teachers. And nearly half of those are post-secondary teachers. What? You mean to tell me we can't educate our own teachers? You mean to tell me there are not enough people that desire to educate Americans? You have to go all across the waters and you have to recruit and brain drain their countries to bring teachers in. You mean to tell me that the teachers in these different nations, come on in, couldn't stay there and teach their own children to make their countries great? I'm just asking a question. There are almost 785,000 foreign-born workers at United States colleges and universities, making up 17.4% of the workforce in higher education. You mean to tell me higher education institutions need somebody from across the water to teach them skills so they can work in their own country? Okay. So who is making a decision to recruit all these people from abroad to come here to America? Now, I understand people want a better opportunity, but you know what I don't see? I don't see a lot of Americans going over to, let's see, Ghana or Senegal, or let's see, the Philippines, or what else? Other places, and becoming teachers, doctors, lawyers, and nurse practitioners. I'm just saying. You mean to tell me we can't take care of our own children? So who is making these decisions to allow this to happen? I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm not too happy about it. And people will say that, oh, you're being you're not being you don't care, you're being heartless. Hi, sweetie. But no, I'm saying that you're bringing in a lot of immigrants, different people into our country. You're draining the country of their own resources. You're draining the country of your medical practitioners, and then you can train them. You can say, oh, this medicine is what's best for this particular. Do you know my husband? He had a particular illness. What did he have? Oh, he had gout for some reason. And I told this person, they had a name that I knew they was from another country. That didn't matter to me. But I said, he can't eat beef. I said, no, tell the nutrition not to serve him beef. And she said, oh, beef doesn't hurt. I said, he has gout. Oh, no, I know what I'm talking about. I'm a doctor and they trained me from, somewhere over in Asia, and I know what I'm talking about. And I said, this is like common knowledge that you don't eat beef when you have gout. This person got her cell phone and had to look it up. Oh, beef and the acid that's in the beef, the chemicals that's in the beef causes gout to flare up. And I had to do that many, many times. I'm not saying that doctors are incompetent, but I'm saying that some of them are incompetent. And why is that? And then so a lot of them that come here may not even know our medicine, may not even know how to deal with certain blood types, may not even know how that's a real thing. Blood types are different. There's a reason why you have a blood type. There are certain foods you can eat and certain you cannot. There are certain medicines you can take, certain you cannot. There are certain herbs you can take and some you cannot. So what else is going on here in America? And who is the one making these decisions to allow so many people to come here to service Americans? Yeah. No, I need this right quick. Go to some artwork. What about the legal profession? As of February 27, 2025, in total, at least 80 lawmakers are foreign born or have at least one parent who was born in another country, including 61 in the House and 19 in the Senate. So if you are making laws, really, the correct thing to say is statutes, codes, and policies, and passing legislation, which is not a law. Law coincides with the republic and the Constitution for our republic. Legalities, statutes, codes, policies, passing legislature coincides with the United States Incorporated, that was incorporated in 1871 as a nonprofit religious organization. It is not a government. They do not have the right to govern us or to make laws. If you're foreign born, how much do you really care about the people in America? I'll wait. How much do you really care if your bloodline isn't here, if you weren't even born here? Let's say you weren't even born here 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago or 100 years ago, let alone your soul, your blood didn't spring from the soil, and let alone if you didn't spring from the soil as the autochthonous, aboriginal, spiritual, whatever you want, entities or beings that sprung from the soil. If you're not the original American, of course, how could you really care? But let's just play along and say, you weren't, your bloodline is not from here. Your bloodline is from another nation, but you came here because you were recruited. How do you really care to really study the bloodline of the people that are here? Do you really have the time even if you care, do you really have? I can tell you, a lot of them didn't. I trained and taught the verbal reasoning component of the MCAT, medical college admission test. I worked for the medical school for many years at the University of Louisville and for the dental school. I coordinated the summer medical education and dental program, SMDEP program, summer medical education dental program, something like that. Helped people pass the DAT, the dental admissions test, and the medical college admissions test. So I know that a lot of these doctors, as we trained them, even when they left us, they were not able to do a lot of research once they got into their field. So those doctors, but 80 lawmakers are foreign born. At least one of them have a parent. Now, you can be upset with me for bringing this up, but did you know that the lawmakers here in America stated that in order to be a president in our country, you had to be natural born and subject to the jurisdiction of the state in which you were born? Okay, that's why Kamala Harris did not qualify to be a vice president or a president. That's why most of those so-called presidents really do not qualify to be a president. You have to be natural born. That's why they're all presidents of the United States Incorporated. They're not part of our lawful republic. You have to be natural born. Look it up. In order to be a president, you have to be natural born and subject to the jurisdiction in which the state you were born. Who was that? Eastman. His name was Eastman. When I said that years ago, people got upset with me, and I said, no, I'm going to look for somebody. I'm going to look for a constitutional lawyer. I called a couple constitutional lawyers, and then I found one in the state of California who said the same thing. How is it that you're allowed to be a lawmaker and you're not even born here? But let's look at, is his name John Eastman? Yes. John Eastman from California. He's a law professor and a constitutional scholar and a constitutional lawyer, also agreed and said, in order to be president here, you have to be natural born and subject to the jurisdiction of the state in which you were born. What is natural? Come on, let's talk for a minute. What is natural born? That's a difference between natural born and native born. Native born, you might have been born on this soil. But if your parents didn't come from here, if your bloodline did not come from here. Now, you want me to get deeper, if your bloodline didn't spring from the soil, you're not supposed to be a president. But let's play along and say, we're not even going to talk about the Aboriginal peoples. Let's just say natural born. And they specify, Eastman specified it is not, nobody even cares if your parents had you on this soil. John Eastman, a Caucasian man said this. Nobody cares if you were born on this. He said it's not about proximity. It's about allegiance Look it up. Fact check me, please. So, how is it that lawmakers can be foreign in America? Now they get upset when you say they need to step down, and most of them need to go back from whence they come. Some of them aren't even human. But even if they are, there's a reason they say the president has to be natural born and subject to the jurisdiction of the state in which they were born. Now, when we talk about Kamala Harris, her parents, her mama was from India. Her daddy was allegedly Jamaican, allegedly, because just because you say you're Jamaican doesn't mean you're Jamaican, because there are a lot of Indians and other blood types that came to Jamaica and got citizenship or naturalized in Jamaica and therefore call themselves Jamaicans. But I'll play along. They came to America and had a baby. Had their baby here. They were both students or something like that. Then they had their baby here. And you know how they do. They have these babies where they here in America so they can get a foothold in America. And then they'll use their credentials against you. I'm telling you, I've seen it. They'll use their status against you once they get here. They'll use their privilege that they've been given against you as an American, and say, we take jobs that y'all won't take. Or they'll use their law degrees to lock up the Black American men, Kamala Harris and Joseph Robinette Biden, and then do the whole 3 strikes you're outlaw. Why? Not only did they want access to the trust, they wanted to do research on these gentlemen. Investigate, see what's going on. Enslave them, access their bonds, do all type of experimentations on them. I can't, I'm not making this up. They did it through the Tuskegee experiment. They did it with Henrietta Lacks. They did it with a lot of autogenous Aboriginal people. But let's not even just talk about original people. Let's even just talk about the people classified as American today. The people that are foreign born that are here, let's say maybe your people were born here a couple decades, they will even tell you that they have a right to do this, that, and the other. But I'm just curious, why has this been allowed to happen? Cryptic said back in the day, the dead body was put on ice and the funeral was held in the home. Death is commercial. Woo-wee. Number 1, outlaw Masonic orders and secret societies. How can there be a secret during the apocalyptic times is what Brother Love is asking. That's an oxymoron. So, what else has been allowed to happen? And a lot of these so-called lawmakers, what they do is they go and they recruit more of the people from their countries in order to allow them to infiltrate and take over America and take over the doctors, the medical profession, take over the education system, take over the law and policy and public policy, take over every segment of society. We ain't gonna talk about that one that President Trump has a problem with right now. What's her name? The one they say married her brother in Minnesota. I'm just saying, they recruit a lot of people. And I get it that people are coming from, areas where they war torn and whatever. But the United States Incorporated went into those countries, caused problems, and then allowed people from all over the place to come here. Why? Because the African American, y'all get mad at me when I say that, so-called Black folk are prisoners of war, and they wanted everybody to come here to take advantage of the land and to take the resources and to take everything they could. And even when people came here in peace, they were like, oh, and they got along with the original autogenous so-called African-American Black folk whose classification was changed over a course of time, and maybe they got along, they would still, it wasn't enough. and we married and did whatever we did, then they created laws to say if y'all get married and y'all work in peace and in harmony and you do business together, you're going against the law. So what we're going to do is we're going to send in more people. And I don't care if they look like us. I don't care if they look American. I don't care if they look black. I don't even care if they look human. Some people on this land mass are not human. You know, a lot of these attorneys work real hard to make sure that immigrants stay here, even if they overstayed their visa, even if they're gang members, even if they peddle drugs. I've seen judges get arrested for hiding gang members and drug peddlers and MS-13. A lot of police officers were infiltrated by MS-13 gang members from other countries. Who do you think is running Hollywood? Y'all know who it is. The people that say they're Jews that are not. I know those that say that they are Jews, but they are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. That's what the Bible says. Why was it important for them to run Hollywood and do MK Ultra Mind program on those babies and those children that went through Disney? A lot of those, and this is no slight against, I'm Hebrew. So this isn't a slight against Hebrew people or Jews. This is of those, the people in power who call themselves Jews that are not. And they get certain women, a lot of them want an American woman, or they want they want an autochthonous woman, a brown woman. I'm talking about these people and these entertainers that run it, so they can allow their bloodline to survive, because a lot of those entities are not human, but they need the womb of the original woman to survive. We already said that of the estimated 8.1 million teachers in the United States, 857,200 immigrant teachers, and nearly half of those are post-secondary education. That's wild. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but that's wild to me. That's wild. What else? I'm going to get to some money news. People want to know where my money at, because it's my money and I need it now. We're going to talk about it, but this has been on my heart. So if you bring in a lot of foreign people, a lot of people from different land masses, then they can get the money. They can practice medicine and law and dentistry. They can become policy enforcers. They can infiltrate the land. And some of them are spies, some of them are not, but they can use that money, enrich themselves, and then send that money back home to their countries and retire there, living like kings and queens, while the rest of us Americans are just groveling, fighting over a piece of bread. Whether you naturalize or whatever, or you natural born sprung from the soil, a lot of us fighting for bread. Those that's been here for a long time, y'all, they fighting too, because the new wave of immigrants are now here. This article, in November 19, 2025, nearly 20% of healthcare workers in the United States are foreign born. That includes physicians, nurses, pharmacists, home health aides, etc. Let's look at the growing role of foreign educated nurses in the U.S. hospitals. July 10, 2024, overall 32% of hospitals, accounting for nearly half, 45% of all hospital beds, say they hired foreign educated RNs in 2022, twice the share in 2010, when 16% of the hospitals accounted for foreign born nurses. Why? You mean we don't have enough American nurses? We don't have enough children that we can recruit to do nursing? You mean there are not enough children born that you can start funneling into the healthcare system here in America? You got to go all across the water to recruit a foreign educated person that might not even have the same medical knowledge as we do here in America? And then when they come, I know because I have family in these areas, they get housing paid for, a good paying job paid more than Americans, that their husbands or their wives are recruited to come and they're given jobs. Let's see, what else do they get? They get help with anything that they need, like they might need some legal help, or they might need some additional help to bolster the education that they got abroad. Oh, all that. And the housing that they receive oftentimes is in a very nice area in the suburbs. I'm telling you what I know. And then that you thinking they just come here, oh, they're just getting a better opportunity. Oh, I'm just so happy that you're here. But meanwhile, Americans are getting fired to make way for the immigrants. And then some of them come from wealth. Not all of them, some of them do. And then you think, oh man, they're here all by themselves. And then you come to learn they already have family members in California, in North Dakota, South Dakota, Chicago, all over the place. They've been recruiting each other. And you know what? Hey, I can't hate on you. They say don't hate the player, hate the game. That means we need to change the game. That means we need to operate at the state level to change things around. That means we need to become the practitioner, not practice. We ain't practicing nothing. We need to become the experts. We need to teach our own children. I'm talking about everybody. I don't care where you come from. Who has the best interest of your child more than you? More than you, more than your tribe, more than your community. And I'm not talking about your neighborhood. I'm talking about the community. There's a difference between a neighborhood. A neighborhood is where you live, but you're not invested. That whole, you don't own the schools, you don't own the banks, you don't own the hospitals, you don't own the temples or the mosques or nothing. That's a neighborhood. I'm talking about the community. The community was comprised of families, tribes. You mean to tell me somebody all the way from Fiji, all the way from Pakistan would know my people, your people, better than you? Know your bloodline, know your diet, your culture? And one of the reasons why the medical schools were going so hard trying to recruit Black people and rural white students to become doctors is because they were saying rural white students, Black people and tribal people, medically underserved people, don't like the way a lot of doctors speak to them, because every culture has a different way of relating. So they had a hard time training doctors how to have bedside manner that was in alignment with rural white students, in alignment with Aboriginal African Americans. For those that don't know, Negro, colored, Black are the original autochthonous people here on the land that sprung from the soil. They lied, changed our classification. Look up Walter Plecker in the Census Bureau. Changed our classification from Indian and Aboriginal to Black, colored, Negro, and African American. African American actually is a category and a classification of meat and produce. They're calling us meat and produce because they have no respect for us, because we're prisoners of war. Even Pope Francis said that they used the Black folks and African Americans as cattle to pay off their debts, and then they decided to use everybody's energy and everybody's trust to pay off the debts. And by the way, slavery never ended. They just expanded it to now no longer do they enslave or mistreat African Americans, who actually are the prisoners of war here, or so-called Black folks, the natural Indian, natural born man and woman, but they enslaved everybody. Pope Francis said it in his letter Motu Proprio. But they started recruiting students to come into the medical profession and in the teaching. And originally, before they started getting all the more immigrants to come over here, because they always have been bringing immigrants over here. We just waking up to it. They've all been doing that a long time. Because the way these professionals would relate to people just didn't sit right with us. The fact that the diet was different. The doctors and the nurses and the people in the healthcare profession, and they didn't understand that. And the women, the ancient women and women from different tribes and the original people here know that you're supposed to squat when you deliver a child, not lay on your back. So they were like, we got to start recruiting people that look like all these medically underserved people so that we can get them to get on our program. Lay on your back when you have a baby instead of squatting like the midwives taught us to do. Be in a cold room full around with people that don't look like you, don't understand your culture, don't really care about you. They're so busy, so tired, they're just delivering babies left and right. Or they've been doing so much, surround you by all these strangers in a cold environment. So they start recruiting doctors from these different communities to entice us to go into their institutions that are not natural and were not created by natural human beings. When I say people that have flesh and blood, and they recruited humans to work in these institutions because these institutions were created by non-human entities that you call extraterrestrials or interterrestrials. But what's extraterrestrial? Outside of the terrain called planet Earth. That's all. They're not like us, these entities that were running this planet. I don't care if they look like us. They're not 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 like us. America is increasingly dependent on foreign doctors. Today, 1 in 4 doctors, as of October the 4th, 2024, are foreign-born, international medical graduates. Their numbers are even larger in underserved areas, essentially low-income, more rural parts of the country. I told you that they went after African Americans first, and then they said, you know what, there's a group of Caucasian people that don't trust us either. The rural community. So we're going to have to send doctors up in there from different countries, as if they couldn't train the rural children to go into medicine to take care of Pawpaw. You see what I'm saying? Or Mama. 1 in 4 doctors are foreign-born, international medical graduates, but their numbers are even larger in underserved. What are medically underserved areas? I'll tell you because I worked in at the University of Louisville School of Medicine. Medically underserved areas are areas where the people in the population typically don't trust the doctors, or they're underserved because there's not enough doctors there. But usually it deals with a cultural difference. Even in rural white communities, there's a cultural difference. A lot of them live off the land. They have families, tight-knit families. They might not go to the public education system. They might not have as much money in the community, but a lot of farmers are there. And they pass down the farming to their generation. They already have trades. Their daddies might fix shoes, and their mamas and daddies do farms. And so that there was no reason for them to go to public education schools, because some of them may have wanted to, but they passed down the information to the children, and they didn't trust doctors. I know, because I was in the medically underserved areas going to talk to the rural students asking, do you want to become a doctor? Why not? And you will hear the stories about what happened to Pawpaw and Mama the last time they went to the hospital and had never had to go to a hospital before. And they grew up on food, the meats from the land, and the corn and the plants from the land. And then something happened when they didn't come out the hospital. Once they start eating the food or start getting shot up with all these medicines, or maybe a uncle he had a toothache, and they tried to make him feel bad because he had never seen a doctor, never had cavities, and he's 58 years old. And then they do a root canal, and all of a sudden stuff start happening. Now, I'm not against root canals and all that. No, I'm just saying the medically underserved children in the rural white community, families typically, historically, did not trust the doctors. First of all, stuff was happening to them. Secondly, a lot of the doctors didn't even look like them because they came from foreign countries. This was in early 2000s when I worked at the medical school. Now, You know why foreign doctors go into medically underserved areas, not just rural white communities, but Hispanic communities, Black communities. These are medically underserved communities. Black, so-called Black, the original people or indigenous people, any Hispanics, what else? And rural white children. Those were usually the ones that didn't trust the doctors. Do you know why doctors, and specifically the foreign doctors, but mostly doctors, period, that know this, go into the underserved communities? Because they can rack up debt, get high student loans, get their bachelor's degree, get a master's degree, get a medical degree, then go on and get training in their specialty, rack up all the debt, and then go to the medically underserved area and serve under the whole umbrella of caring about equity and diversion, and have all their student loans wiped out. So the next time somebody tells you that I came to America with nothing and I worked and I did all this and I didn't get any benefits, I would say some of them may not be telling you the truth. That might be why President Trump, one of the reasons, is saying, like, we got to send people back home, because we're not talking about just everyday people that just, they come from a war-torn country and they need help. Some of them, yes, but some of them take advantage of the system. Like I said, don't hate the player, hate the game, and change the game. I'm just saying. Here's an article. PhillyVoice.com. America is increasingly dependent on foreign doctors, but their path to immigration is now getting harder. Right, because if you are a doctor, why aren't you practicing medicine in your own country? Plug this up, man. Is it because you can get more benefits here, and you can get more education and get your student loans over here paid off? Is it because you get your free housing that nobody talks about? You can become a citizen or get naturalized, and maybe even not. Maybe you can stay undocumented and you can vote, and then you can take all the money you make and send it back to your own country. Is that why? I'm just asking a question. Sister says, hey, doc, they are not telling the truth. Yes, Brother Ryan said, I had a root canal about 6 months ago, and I bet they implanted a tracking device in my crown. I just heard a story yesterday on the channel where she said she knows somebody that had a root canal, and they started hearing voices. They started hearing conversations. They could hear all type of things happening because the person discovered that there was something implanted in them. That's wild. And it's crazy. You don't know what's going on. I'm telling you, some of these entities that are here are not human. Some of them are, and some of them are given orders. Do you know when you're a part of a secret society, you have to carry out the orders of your upline? I might be a doctor, dentist, lawyer, whatever, and I pledge to a secret society. I have to do whatever they told me to do. Thank God I never did it, but I'm telling you. Because if you don't do what they tell you to do, your family could come up missing. You might come up missing. That prestigious job you thought you were going to get, you thought you were going to elevate, they'll hold it up if you don't do what they tell you to do. Hello, family. Somebody said I hit my tech goddess said I fired my doctors years ago. Thank you, Sister Janine. Yep, we had a Tuskegee experiment. They had to use a melanated female nurse to recruit. Thank you for confirming what I'm saying. They had to use a melanated female to recruit test subjects for the Tuskegee experiment. This is what they do. They recruit people that look like you, no matter who you are, where you come from, to become the professional so that they can recruit you to participate in their systems. And some of these melanated folk and even Caucasian folks that they recruit to be their professional don't have your best interest at heart. If they're part of a secret society, they don't care nothing about you. They care more about their upward mobility and their money or the life of their family, which we get. Because once you pledge, ain't no turning around, baby. Especially if you pledge high up. And speaking of them recruiting a melanated woman, just kind of like they recruiting melanated people in entertainment to shake their booties and tell women and make women think this is appropriate, and to yell at men and say that they're equal to men. And some of them brown melanated women might look like us, but they ain't us. They ain't even American. A lot of them singers, entertainers, actors, they're not American, just like the politicians aren't. I don't care if they do have brown complexion. I don't care if they have yellow or lighter complexion that people classify as white. A lot of them are not even American. Sister Janine said, that's why I'm my own doctor. We need to get back to that. Thank you, sister. Start studying the herbs. And look for ways. They don't want you to call herbs and silver, gold, and copper medicine. People wore jewelry because it healed us. They don't want you to use the word cure because it cured us. It healed us. It prevented. It was preventative medicine. That's why they stole the gold from Earth. And then, you know, the so-called Anunnaki that came to Earth to mine gold, they took it because it healed us. It caused certain things to happen to us. We had psychedelic powers. We were teleporting. We were communicating through telepathy. If the limb fell off or we got sick and our arm got cut off, if we regrew them. Dr. Jewel Pookrum told you there are several areas of the brain that aren't even operating now. We haven't even activated them. We've forgotten how to do that. One of the reasons is because of all the immunizations, all the medicines, the poison that's in the food, and because they cut off the umbilical cord. So all the ancestral memory did not get to the child. Thank you for being in the house, family. What's happening is there are entities that have been put in place to control the whole earth realm that's under this dome. I don't even know why this has been allowed to happen. And these entities make babies with the natural man and woman. And they become hybrids. They also take the natural man and woman, take DNA from them and DNA from animals and God knows what else, and they create other beings. And so then they allow them, other beings, I don't even know what they are. They might come from another plane outside the Earth dome as well. Some we don't even know about. We talk about the draconians, reptilians, archons. There's a lot more. They're the ones that allow this to happen. And they put out a ploy and recruit other human beings to come here. And those people, the people that are not from America, when you come from a landmass, your heart beats to the drum and the vibration and the frequency of that landmass. When you come from a landmass, your blood cries out to the earth, to that landmass. The ancestors that transition, their energy cries out and speaks to their children, their posterity, their predecessors that they left behind. When you come from a landmass, your heart, your soul, your mind, your energy, your DNA, everything resonates with that landmass because that's where your bloodline is from. This is just Dr. Kia Pruitt speaking. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Why is America increasingly dependent upon foreign doctors? If I was a foreign-born If I was somebody in India and I know that all my doctors in India were being recruited to go to America, I would be highly offended. I would be like, why are they going over there when they could be helping us right here? Why are we allowed to die? If I was in China and I saw all the engineers and the researchers going to America, I'd be highly offended. Like, why is this allowed to happen? Who is really running this, was running this earth? But I'm telling you, everything's turning around. Everything's turning around. And around, and around, and around, and around. It's gonna work in your favor. No, baby. Daddy didn't get you nothing?
He did. He got me so badly. I didn't.
Okay, baby. God's gonna turn it around. What's that song? And around, and around, and around.
You just put any part you want.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm looking for music, I just put a part of the song
Mm-hmm.
and I search up the part of the song,
Mm-hmm.
and then it will give me some options, and then you pick the right one.
Okay, because I was thinking that might be Israel Hoffman, but I'm not sure. Houghton, I think his name was. Go ahead, baby. Go turn around. Let me go over there. Yeah, turn around. I think that's it. Israel New Breed. Is that it? Is that the song I'm thinking of?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But all my Pentecostal folk, y'all know the song. He's going to turn your mourning into dancing, turn your sorrow into joy. He's going to turn your whole life around. He, she, whomever, source, it's working in our favor. It's going to turn around for the whole human family. Yes, we're at the last straw. Yes, I do truly believe everything's going to get better. I want to talk about RV, but right now I'm talking about a few other things, and I'll get to that. I told you we be wanting to know about our money, right? Where's my money? And I need it now because they kept us so enslaved and so stressed out. We looking for a way out. Evening Glow says, I have had 3 or 4 Indian doctors. They are not smart and they don't have a bedside manner. They're very rude. That was a complaint when I worked at the medical school, when we would go into the underserved communities and ask them, why don't you go to your checkups? Now I knew because I was like my grandparents hardly ever did either. Or I don't think my parents, it just wasn't something our community did. We took care of each other. There were home remedies. But they said the doctors just don't have bedside manners and they're rude. They're cold. And if you're a doctor, you're a healthcare practitioner, and that's not you. I'm not talking about you, family. I'm talking about this was the overall conversation. Blessed. Thank you. Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Who sang that song? Blessed. How come Daniel Caesar comes up? No, we talking about a gospel song. Who sings that song? Family. We're blessed in the city. We're blessed in the fields. We're blessed when we come and when we go. We cast down every stronghold. Sickness and poverty must cease because the devil is defeated. We are blessed. Yes. Okay. I can remember. I still can't find the lyrics. I know people that's here that want to hear about money. It's like, you talking too long. I want to know about my money. Can you not do a 2 or 3 or 4 hour video? To which I would say, No, I'm going to do what I feel I need to do. You can always speed up the video on 2-speed or pay for premium with YouTube. Ain't got nothing to do with me, and speed up to 3 or 4-speed, or you can wait for my shorts that I usually publish. Or, you know, you might find somebody that can say some of the same things, but that are not as long-winded. Okay. Yeah. I still can't find a song, Blessed in the City, Blessed in the Field. They'll probably tell me, but I'm on another screen. Fred Hammond. How can I know that? I not remember that. I love me some Fred Hammond. Man, he's bad on that bass guitar. We're blessed in the city. We're blessed in the field. We're blessed when we come and when we go. We cast down every stronghold. Sickness and poverty must cease, for the devil is defeated. We are blessed. What's my favorite part? I'm looking for the part that says God's going to turn it around. Late in the midnight hour, God's going to turn it around. No, late on the midnight hour, God's going to work in your favor. He's going to turn it around, or something like that. And around, and around, and around, and around. We late in the midnight hour, family. We are at the end of this battle against the human family, against all of us. And I know that a lot of people don't like the way the military is handling it by deporting folks, and I do understand that. I know a lot of people don't like the fact either that President Trump is taking a hard stance even on naturalization. And people are saying he's denaturalizing Americans. But the stance against naturalization could be because a lot of people were coming to America to take advantage of the systems that were put in place so that they can have money, they can have resources, they can have whatever. But naturalization has nothing to do with the Constitution. Everybody like, yeah, restore the republic. That's not constitutional. If it is, show me, I'll wait. Naturalization is a federal thing. That people in power, these lawmakers that are foreign anyway, these so-called lawmakers, created for themselves, baby. Either you're American or you're not. So a lot of people, you know, you're American. And I'm sure there are lawful ways, according to the Republic, that if you didn't spring from the soil here or you weren't, your bloodline's not from here, I'm sure there are lawful ways that, according to the Republic, that you can become, that you can live on a landmass and do business. But the naturalization process, so you got to remember, things that are federal, let me get out of here from things that are federal, things that align with the United States and corporate. I don't care if it's federal or not. It's got to be re-examined. And for the most part, torn apart. Federal government, FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigations, federal this, federal that. They're all part of the United States Incorporated, that incorporated themselves as a religious nonprofit institution. They're a corporation. They're corpse. Dead entities passing along as laws. So even the naturalization process has to be re-examined. So if people are told that they're stripped of their naturalization process and they have to go back home, God forbid you got to go back home to where your mom and dad and sister and brother and aunts and uncles and cousins are from. I can't relate because I've never, I've never like left my whole landmass. And so I can't relate. To me, it would be torment, but I get it. People said they were looking for opportunities. I get it. But remember, according to the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act, in order to receive the benefits of the government that all the governments and all the nations of the whole world will have, because every part of the world has some type of wealth. And if they don't have wealth, then they can do lawful business and trade with those nations. But coming to land masses and stealing the land, I don't care if the government sold it to you. If the government said, hey, come on over here, you can take this land, you can take mine over here, you can just pay me $5 here and pay, and you can say you're original person right here, and you can get on the Dawes Rolls and call yourself a $5 Indian. I don't care if the government say, hey, we got all this land over here in the West where there's gold. You might as well come from wherever in the world you can. I'm the government. I'm going to give you this land. You can mine here. It might belong to somebody else. You can farm here. It doesn't even matter. Guess what? You have to abide by the republic. Because what people didn't tell everybody else is that a lot of farmers that were allowed in different places, different countries to farm, and they weren't from that land mass, they had an agreement with the government for like 99 years is the most that they had an agreement with. And then when that 99 years or whatever the lease was with that government that was in place is over, the job was done. But they don't tell everybody that. There are leases in place. There are agreements in place. Now, they might not have told everybody that, and they might have said, hey, I'm here. I get to farm in this particular country. But I'm going to bring all my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, and then we're going to bring 4 children here. That still doesn't make you from that country or from the blood, have the blood right to the land. There's birthright and there's blood right. 2 different things. Birthright. No, birthright, blood right. Birthright, I was born here, therefore I should have a right. No, it's you got a privilege. You don't have a right, you have a privilege. Blood right, you have a right. Take it up with the ancestors. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Birthright, blood right. That's why Trump first targeted birthright citizenship. Now he's talking about naturalization. That ain't my business. Please take it up with the president. But he is saying he's going through a process of denaturalizing people because some people claim themselves as Americans and they pay certain fees and they filled out certain documents, but that did not make them American. And they need to return home, according to him, ain't got nothing to do with me, to receive the benefits of their nation from which they came. Things are turning around and it seems unfair. There's going to be some collateral damage. But there's got to be a lawful way where if you desire to stay in a certain place, the lawful way, not a legal way. I don't know if it's through marriage. I don't know what it is. I don't know if people got to go back and come, go to their country and come back. I don't know. But what I do know is that when I look at the statistics of how folk are doing in my country, we're just going to look at the median household income. You see Indian Americans, and I'm not talking about the Black, African, Negroid, colored folk that are the original Americans here. 1828, Webster's definition of American is the copper-colored races discovered by Europeans in America, in the Americas, but now applied to Europeans. I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about Indian Americans from East India make 100,000, 105. 105. What am I trying to say? Over $100,000 median income. They're at the top of the pyramid. So people say, oh, a lot of people come here with nothing. A lot of the Indians that are here come from that. What is it? The Brahmin group. They have a caste system there. You think they're going to let their darkies come over here? The ones from the lower class come over here? Very few. Very, very few. Those are a lot of the engineers. Those are I know what I'm talking about. I work for the University of Louisville. I saw the University of Louisville recruit Indians and call them minorities and give them the scholarships that were earmarked for the African Americans. I know what I'm talking about. A lot of them that come from here. No. A lot of them that come here. No. They're not from they're not the ones that, what do they call the ones that nobody can talk to, nobody can deal with? What do they call it? Darkies, the dark Indian, the caste system. What is it called? Untouchables. You think they let the untouchables come over here? No, they got to stay in their caste system where they are. The ones that come here usually come. How are they engineers and doctors? They already had money. Don't play with me. They were the ones that were working downtown and got the research jobs, the tech jobs. and live in the community way on the East End, away from the darkies in the west side of Louisville. They live way in the South End in Jacksonville, away from the north side and the west side. Because you got some even some of our European American people that are doing pretty well that live on the west side. Oh no, they don't live on the west side. They don't live on the north side. They live on the south side. Good jobs, and their loved ones get jobs too. Mm-hmm. I've talked to many of them in my community. I ain't got no qualms. I'm just saying they at the top. Filipino Americans next. A lot of their women become the nurses. And they're smart too. They go into research and they teach at professors. So I'm not taking anything away from Taiwanese Americans. The Filipino make 83. Taiwanese, median income 82. Sri Lankans, I didn't even know they were here, 74,600. Japanese Americans, 72,300. Malaysian American. It's interesting how they put from where their bloodline is and attach it to American, but the 1828 Webster's definition of American are the copper-colored races found or discovered by Christopher Columbus. But they can say they're American through naturalization. But as soon as they get when they, people have pride. Oh, I'm Filipino, or I'm Sri Lankan, I'm Japanese, and I think that's beautiful and amazing. So why people get upset when I say I'm American? My people come from the Americas. Chinese Americans make 69,000. Pakistani Americans make 66,000. Caucasian or so-called white Americans. I say so-called because white is a classification. It is not an ethnicity. White was the classification that was originally for the autochthonous original American. And the people that came from Europe, they had the black classification. Black meaning they had nothing. They were slaves. They had no standing in law. You can't have standing in law if you come from a whole nother landmass. But they switched things around, and now they call them the European Americans, white Americans. They make 59,900. Korean Americans make 59,200. You know, the ones that own the nail salons and the hair salons? Yeah. Indonesian Americans make 57.5. By the way, if I were you, I would be looking at what's going on right now in their country because Indonesia is coming up, which means that if you're invested, you're going to do all right. The average American household make 56,200. If I were you and I were American, I'd be pausing and wondering why the average American, no matter what your complexion looks like or where your bloodline come from, you're American, the average American. I mean, you've been here for some time. Why is it that the average American only makes 56,200? That doesn't bother anybody, but you got all these other people that come from other countries, and some of these countries are not. That they might be historically doing bad, but some of the people are coming from the lower classes, so-called lower caste, I should say. Excuse me, I don't want to be offensive. The average American make 56.2. Thai Americans make 55,000. Bangladesh Americans make 50. Nepalese make 43.5. Hispanic Latino Americans make about 43. Because y'all know North America, South America, Central America is part of the Americas. Now, some of those, their new ones, they ain't from there either. Some of the new ones that are here that say that they, from Colombia, Cuba, whatever. Some of the new ones that they or Mexico, even a lot of them, they've been bled out, interbred, or a lot of them had people coming from other landmass as well. Like people came here from Asia, crossing the Bering Strait, and they, live in the teepees and the huts, and, they live on reservations. A lot of them also went to some of these other places, but let's just, for the sake of being all on the same page, Hispanic Latin Americans made 43,000. African Americans, the ones that were considered prisoners of war in their home on their own landmass, are at the bottom. It's interesting that Martin Luther King, his real name is Michael Luther King. And that's at least what they tell us. We don't know if King is his real name or not. But we know he was a Mason. We know there are pictures with him with the Rothschilds. Was the Rothschilds or Rockefellers? And he said they were friends. And they had some of the same agendas. But he said, I fear I led my people into a burning house. because he know that some of the things that he did by telling us to give up our communities, give up our professions, stop being midwives and delivering your own babies, go to the public education schools and then go into the hospitals. And then you get programmed to do whatever they tell you to do. Because when you go through schooling, they program you. And you would think that what they're like, I don't even want to. Should I say it? Some of the things that they put in place and they tell you, oh, we just want to make sure they're comfortable when they're passing. Some of us don't even know that the medicine that they're giving them is helping them to drift away to the other side. But you can teach them, we're just doing this to make sure they're comfortable. They don't tell you that this comfortable medicine is going to take them on out of here. They don't tell you they're draining their organs while they're being comfortable. Oh, and some of the respirators, while we know it does maintain some of the people's life, they didn't tell us. They tell you it sustains their life, but they didn't tell you what happens when they're on those respirator machines. How, because I had my brother, before he passed, he told my brother-in-law, Dexter told me, he was like, he said, well, I was on a respirator when I had heart surgery. That was the most traumatic experience. I woke up, he said, because he said, I felt it when I was asleep, that oxygen, so-called oxygen that flooded my lungs was so strong. I couldn't think, I couldn't sleep. It made me unconscious, but something snapped and I woke up to myself and I had all this stuff rushing through my body. I pulled out the stuff, the tube out of because that thing was keeping me sedated. That thing, they said it was keeping me alive, but it's the most difficult thing I ever experienced. We got all this air rushing through your lungs and your body, and you feel like you're being flooded with water. He said it's the most horrible feeling I ever had. You know, the life support. So when they put my husband on, he was like, I'm not for no. He said, you told him not to do it. What would he want? I said, I know he wants to live, but I don't think he wants to go through what you're explaining. But you can train people to say this is the best way to sustain them. But do you know what happened when I told them, when they first put him on respirator, I said, I don't want him to have that. They said, okay, there's something else we can do. And that was only because my brother-in-law told me there's another way that they can put oxygen in his body without doing that. I forget the name of the respirator machine. I was like, what? And then they train the doctors that they have to do dialysis. But I had a good doctor. When there was this one guy, he just had a heart for me. I'm so grateful. When I said, I don't think he would want that. He said, okay, well, there is something that we can do that's not as intrusive. And it's something we can give them and take orally, but it's not something that a lot of people know about. And do you know his liver and kidney numbers? I don't know what the numbers meant, but they improved with this oral medication. But you can train your doctors, teachers, nurses, lawyers, attorneys, judges, however you want. They call it programming, right? Propagandizing. Now, I know they learned some good information. I went to higher education. I'm very grateful for things that I learned. But that's also some of the stuff I know that I'm leery of, like oppositional defiance disorder. That you're supposed to give a child medicine because a child being defiant is classified as oppositional defiance disorder in the Diagnostic Statistical Manual in Psychology and Counseling and Psychology. I was like, no. Back where I come from, if you defiant and oppositional, you got consequences. You didn't get medicine. You weren't sent to a medical institution. So in other news, family, I just want to say a lot of things are happening. It's happening. But things are reversing and they're turning around. And it might seem mean that President Trump is denaturalizing. It might even be mean. It's not my fight. So it's not right for me to say. But I do know that a lot of these countries had what they call brain drain, where they drained out the professionals and the experts and allowed them to come here in America. As if we can't educate, train, rear, feed, farm for American people. Why do you have to contract out? Why do you have to outsource? Well, then people will tell you, we're doing a job nobody else want to do. No. Now, some of the laborers might be making a little less money, or maybe even a lot less. I don't know. But these professionals about which I'm speaking, they make more money than the Americans. And they're giving, and even they weren't, they're still giving benefits like housing, and they their spouses come and they give them jobs. And then you come to find out that they had a grandmother and a grandfather or an aunt and uncle that was already here, and they own a lot of land in California, and they paying off the debt, any debt that they have. So if you want to so you might be here on a 5-year contract at a hospital in Florida, let's say. And let's say you want to move, you're from another country, and you say, you know what, I just want to move. I want to go back. I want to go to California where my granny is. And then the people on your job, like, I didn't even know you had people here. I thought you was the first to come. I thought they recruited you to come and work in medicine here. Oh no, no, they recruited me. I'm talking, this is a real life story. They gave me housing, right up here in the nicest part of the state. And my husband, he's got a job here. They gave him a job. Yeah. And our children, they go to private schools. Yeah. And we can even get food stamps. And we can vote. But, I'm just tired. I don't want to live in the state anymore. I want to go to California. Well, why would you go to California when you just came from X nation? Well, because my grandmother is there and she owns a whole lot of property in California. Well, how can she own a lot of property in California when that costs so much? Well, don't you worry about that. We have ways. But how can you just leave when you got a 5-year contract here in the state of Florida? Oh, she gonna buy out my contract. Oh, so your people rolling like that, and all this time you've been telling me you came from nothing to this country and they just recruited you. Oh, okay. Well, I see it's a secret. Okay, well, don't hate the player, hate the game. And even the workers that come here, that are laborers, that are doing the job that nobody wants to do, how nobody wants to do it? And who am I to say that, like, hey, work, do your thing. You made it. But some of those jobs could be reserved for some of our teenagers. I'm just saying. Or some people that would be happy doing certain jobs, landscaping or whatever. All I'm saying is we got a lot of people from different countries that are here running the country, passing legislation, working in government, infiltrating police departments as the MS-13 gang members, working in the educational school system, and God knows what else. So denaturalizing, that's between God and President Trump and the military. We do know that gang members came from different countries and overtook whole neighborhoods and committed crimes. And some of the people have come up on my platform and said, we have a right to be in America. They'll tell you, I have a right to be in America because it's bad in my country. And I asked them, is it true that your, certain parts of your country is gang ridden? Oh, yeah. So would you say that some of the gang members came to our country? Oh, yeah, I know that. So have you heard that the gangs are like taking over whole communities and committing crimes and peddling children, and like you escaped that from your country, but some of those people came here. Can you see how that would make us feel uncomfortable? And I digress. But the real alien that's here are the non-human entities that are running the governments, that created the hospitals, that created the school system, that created abortion, unaliving our children, that created immunizations. I'm not talking about anything that can really inoculate you against things. I'm talking about the ones that are causing autism and DEATH. Those are the real aliens. They're non-human. They're not us. I don't care if they masquerade as us. And when I say us, I mean they look human. They shape shift. They take on the form. Those are the real aliens. That is the real war that most people are not talking about. Because if they do, people wouldn't even be ready for it. But we've had 7 resets, as I said, right here on the earth plane already that we know about. COVID, where they shut down the whole world, that was supposed to be a whole nother reset where they unalive as many humans as they could and then reserve the rest of them for enslavement purposes. So people that say I need to learn how to stamp what do you call it? Timestamp my videos. I'm not going to do that. It takes too much time. I do a lot of research. I'm raising, children. I work. I'm a teacher. I'm busy. I have family. I have loved ones. But timestamp me. Clip this. It's 1 hour and 39 minutes and 47 seconds. We're going to shift the conversation to talk about something else. What else is in the news other than mass deportation, getting, people that are not from here to go back home, or denaturalization so that people can return home and make their countries great and utilize their skills and their education to rebuild the infrastructure, to help their people, to farm there in their countries, to help them to sustain their life, and also to receive the benefits that all these countries will receive through the global version of the National Economic Security Reformation Act called JSARA, the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act, which will totally wipe away their debt, do away with taxation there abroad in different countries and here in America, do away with corruption in their countries, utilize silver and gold as money, create a new currency that will be backed by silver and gold, and also create businesses where they can make the best use of those resources to help their families and their posterity. That is what's going to happen in this new reality. So it may feel uncomfortable that people are being told to go back, or President Trump is doing certain things. And it might be sad, it might be unfair, and we're praying that things are done fairly and they don't separate families. But if you're married to somebody that goes abroad, why not go back? And then come back the so-called correct way, because a lot of people that came here, they might even tell you, I came here lawfully, but what they're not telling you, and this is from a former immigration lawyer, what they're not telling you is that a lot of people came here and their visas ran out. And when their visas ran out, they sought asylum. And seeking asylum is just doing paperwork. And then that process was not even that difficult. They would hire an attorney to do it, or they would pay something and they fill out some documents. They would seek asylum, and that's how they became legal. An immigration lawyer said that it's very difficult actually to come into America legally under a lot of the statutes, codes, and policies. So a lot of them that were crossing the border or just came over here through visas, temporary visas, or marriage, or whatever, or even some of them pretended to be married, pretended to love each other, or maybe they came here under the guise of being in love and they really weren't. And then they just sought asylum. But things are going to turn around, even in their countries. That's why countries are doing away with the dollar. They've stopped trading with the dollar and trading with their own global currencies backed by precious metals and everything else, that are all the other resources that are supporting their currencies. What else is going on in the news other than deportation and things like that, immigration, denaturalization, is people are saying that there are going to be a lot of banks that collapse. And they're saying, oh my God, it's going to get bad. A lot of banks are going to collapse. It's going to be huge. And, some banks may collapse, in fact, or fail. I'm just looking for my documents that talk about these banks. But what has happened is that a lot of banks actually, we had 5 major failures a couple of years ago of the big banks, but a lot of banks are closing because they may not have been compliant. If you're not Basel III compliant, where you have recognized gold as a tier 1 asset and recognized foreign reserve notes as a tier 2 asset, clip this. A lot of people are concerned about banking collapses and banking closures. But if you weren't compliant, recognizing gold as a tier 1 asset, meaning you were recognizing gold as money, and you didn't have tier 2 assets, which are foreign reserve notes, then you were not compliant. You didn't have enough reserves in the bank. The reason why banks met globally last year to make sure in February 2024 that they were prepared for foreign currency exchanges was because they knew that we were entering into a new time where all the countries' currencies that have been devalued through war or sanction were now being revalued. They're going to be reinstated back to their pre-war, pre-sanction rate, but they're also being revalued based on the resources that each country has. So all the banks all over the world were accumulating gold in record numbers to ensure that they had enough gold in the banks to preserve the bank against economic hardship and economic collapse. Enough gold in the bank for that, and enough foreign reserve notes in the bank to make sure that they were had enough reserves in the bank to preserve them against any type of foreseeable economic collapse, to make sure they were ready for foreign currency exchanges, because a lot of people invested in the countries that currencies had devalued through war and sanctions. And when the time comes and they flip the switch, a lot of people that knew about that devalued currencies will now go into the banks with the new rate, put on the bank those currencies, and get an exchange those currencies, and become out very, very wealthy, come out very, very wealthy. So banks had to be Basel III compliant, recognize gold as money, a tier 1 asset, and have foreign reserve notes so they can be ready. That's why I reported some time ago that banks met globally to ensure that they were ready for foreign currency exchanges. So you already had a lot of banks that collapsed, the 5 major banks. FDIC, you look up the report of how many banks closed through the FDIC, you will see that. But either they're not compliant, or they were found doing some nefarious things. The banks have to be, you can have that, baby. The banks have to also be monitored. Those that aren't compliant, that don't want to be monitored, they will go away. They have to be transparent, and they can no longer steal your money. So a lot of those banks that were not compliant, those will be done away with. But an overall banking collapse, most likely with a whole banking system just as non-existent for a while, that's not going to happen, where all banks are going to be not going to be in, just not live. But at some point, we won't have any purpose for a bank. You won't have a purpose for somebody else holding your assets. You won't have a purpose for that if you become your own bank, if you accumulate silver and gold, if you have whatever currency the United States Treasury Department decides to mint or to print out, which will be backed by silver, gold, palladium, platinum, and other precious metals. You can become the bank for your family. There wouldn't be no need to turn over your money to an institution. And banks, by the way, when you think about them, they have a relationship with maritime law and admiralty law, like the river, the bank of the river, water, the laws or the legality, statutes, codes, and policies of the water. So a lot of banks will go away, not first, not right away, but at some point we're transitioning to a whole new reality. Banks will go away. What else? Court systems. Attorneys, which are not lawyers, attorneys attorney for you because we're considered lost at sea and dead and lost at sea. And that's why you do a lot of whispering in the courtroom. You see a lot of the judges wear black because they're not real judges. They're not constitutional judges. They're administrators over your trust. They're performing a funeral and a seance when they stand up in the court. That's why they say all rise because you're dead in their eyes. They wear black, funeral. They will be done away with. Banks at some point, attorneys, administrators that are erroneously called judges, policy enforcers, which are police officers. That's why police departments all across America are downsizing and closing, and the duties of the police departments are rolling over into the sheriff department, because according to our lawful republic, the entities or the people that enforce the laws must enforce the laws of the land. That's why they wear brown, and here in our state, they wear green, the laws of the land, like the grass, right? Policy enforcers work for the United States Incorporated. They wear black and blue. Policy enforcers, attorneys, judges that are really administrators over your trust, that access your trust when you ever show up in court, banks, corporations, they're going to cease and desist. for the 444 government agencies, all that's going to cease and desist. What backs me up on that? The Supreme Court of the United States overturning the Chevron doctrine. That was a decision whereby the Supreme Court said the government had unlimited powers. They were encroaching upon life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness of the people. They were creating statutes, codes, and policies and sent their policy enforcers to enforce you to do that. So the Supreme Court of the United States overturned a doctrine that gave them unlimited powers. Before that happened last year in 2024, that 10 years earlier in 2014, Pope Francis came up with Pope Francis came up with motu proprio, where he wrote a letter to Obama stating that it's over for us. The United States incorporated all our presidents because they were not presidents of the landmass called America. They were presidents of the corporation that we created, and we created it with our own constitution. But it has nothing to do with the laws of the land or law of the people. So in motu proprio, Pope Francis said the courts must close, the attorneys must cease and desist, the judges must cease and desist, the so-called lawmakers must cease and desist. I must stand down. Police officers must stand down. And if we don't, Pope Francis said, then the Grand Army of the Republic would be formed as an army with General Ham at the forefront of it, at the head of this army, this military, to take us down. That, my friends, is what we see happening right now. You can look at resignation.info and see all the forced resignations in the court system, prime ministers, presidents, all over, corporate leaders, CEOs of banks. You ever wonder why, no matter how hard you work, no matter how much education you got, you never could become a CEO of somebody else's company? It's because you didn't join a secret society. And it's because you weren't one of them. There's a big club that, runs things, but you ain't a part of it. And neither was I. But a lot of CEOs are on that list on resignation.info. A lot of mass arrests are happening right now. At some point, everything could close. Remember, the government here in America, the fake folk government called the United States Incorporated, it reopened. Did it reopen as a republic? I don't know, but it did reopen. However, if they don't pass the budget, they'll close back January the 31st. So let's not get so comfortable with relying on and being all right with the government that we think everything's okay. No, you need to take all this information I'm giving you today, and you need to write out a mission plan, a vision plan, and have a mission and vision for your family, create a family bank, and govern ourselves accordingly. Get some things in place in case the government shuts down. We might not have entitlement benefits because so-called entitlement benefits came from the coffers. Really, it came from your trust. But let's, for the sake of argument, clip this. A lot of things was funneled by the United States Incorporated. Food stamps, TANF, Section 8, all those benefits came from, it may even Social Security. Were actually, I don't want to say they came from, we know they came from our trust, but they say it was government due to government spending. But where did the government ask? How did they get that money? Maybe they got it from your trust. Well, what happens when the United States Incorporated completely collapsed? We know it's bankrupt. We know it's defunct for real. Well, the Supreme Court of the United States, overturning the Chevron doctrine, said we must limit the powers of the government because they've been treasonous, unconstitutional, and unlawful. And every judge that participated and allowed this to go on, and every judge that also made sure you paid a fine if you didn't want to do what any 444 so-called government agents said you had to do, they committed treason, just like the government committed treason. And any judge that knew of a judge that allowed this to happen committed misprision of treason. Interesting. So the government is going to go away. Maritime law, admiralty law, that's going to go away. Policy enforcers, all these people that call themselves lawyers. I showed you that it said like 80 of them were foreign born, but almost all of them have an attorney's degree. That's why they speak legalese. That's why attorneys go into law. You start from the bottom. You join a secret society when you are in college, You go into so-called law school, you pass the British accredited registry called the bar exam. And when you do that, you become an esquire with ESQ behind your name, which is a title of nobility. But according to our Constitution for America, our landmass, our lawful government, you may not have a title of nobility and create laws. So a lot of lawmakers, whether they're foreign or call themselves America, they're going to have to stand down too, because they have a title of nobility, which means they work for the British crown and not for the American people. Now, will the banks collapse? Some people say they will. I say we already had, 5 major bank failures. And then I'm going to show you my notes here and let you see that we do have a lot of bank closings. And I'll tell you why that's happening. Because we're transitioning to a new season. According to the FDIC, 570 bank failures occurred between 2001 and 2025. On March 38th, Newsweek published an article that says banks are quietly disappearing. Are they going to just collapse? I don't know, but they're disappearing, and I'll tell you why. Well, in many articles, many sources, they're disappearing because, one, there's a decline of people going into the banks, right? Because some people are just too busy. And then after COVID, people got out of the habit. Number 2, due to online banking, where you can bank right from your phone or your computer, there's no need for a place you can walk into. I don't know why I put number 3, banks are working to save money. I don't even know what I mean right there. But according to a Kipplinger article, there are banks that closed this year in 2025. The Bank of America had 27 locations closed. JPMorgan Chase closed 15 locations. Flagstar closed 52 locations. TD Bank closed 37 locations. U.S. Banks closed 40 locations. Wells Fargo closed 49 locations. That was according to a Kipplinger article. But all those things are reasons. Yes. See if I can bring this up. Why banks are closing. And some also say the silver squeeze. That's a reason as well. But I asked AI Google mainly, because I already knew the answer to this. I reported on this years ago. One of the reasons, the huge reason why banks are closing, not just because they're doing away with maritime law of the water, like the river bank, like, all things that deal with admiralty and water, but there's a trend of banks transforming into comprehensive wealth management centers, not banks, wealth management centers. Major financial institutions are expanding their offerings and physical locations to capture a larger share of the affluent and high net worth client base. Who are those people? I'll tell you in a minute. Key drivers and trends: new revenue streams. Facing pressure on traditional interest and fee-based revenue, banks are pivoting to wealth management for more stable and secure income through advisory and management fees. So they're going to take more of an advisory role. They're going to have wealth managers in their wealth management centers, not necessarily a place where you store your money. Holistic client demands. Clients are increasingly wanting a seamless integrated experience that combines banking, lending, investment strategy, and retirement cessation planning under one roof. But it used to be the top 1%, the affluent, that got those services through the wealth management branch of a bank. So why are they now closing banks and only having wealth management centers? I'll tell you. Because they're targeting the affluent. That's the third bullet point. They're targeting the affluent market. Large banks like JPMorgan Chase and Bank of America are specifically targeting upper affluent and high net worth individuals who often already use their services, but now want expanded services. Who are they really talking about? They're talking about you and me, who all have a trust. We're all trust fund babies, no matter where you're born. You have a trust that was created in your name. And if you were born in a hospital, you have a birth certificate that was created, securitized, made into a bond. It was traded on the stock market and it accumulated interest. And that went into a trust. You have a social security number also that's attached, really a bank number. You all have a trust, let alone the trust in the land that your family left here, to which the deeds to which the government has hidden and kept away from many of you. All that wealth is coming back to us. Remember the scriptures that says the wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, and the wealth of the wicked is stored up from the righteous. Where there have been many people, elders, just people that from dynasties and just from families that left you wealth that you don't even know about, that left you land that the government has kept under wraps and hidden from you, left you silver, gold, mining areas, farms. And, you know, I even heard Anna Von Wright say this the other day, and I was surprised when she said a lot of people bought up land thinking that they were getting land that should have been rightfully sold to them. They're going to have to give it back. When a book is open and everything flips over, the truth is going to be told about some of these lands that were sold to other people. Some everyday people, some of us bought houses. We didn't know that somebody else owned the allodial title, the original lawful title. But they will be compensated. Thank you so much for being a new member of the Silver Soul Tribe. I appreciate you. Welcome, Dory. Is that Dory? Dory Washington. It has to be returned. Now, if a person bought land or farmland or whatever, or they mined on an area that belongs to somebody else, they're going to be compensated. We had a sovereign judge, Anna Von Wright, to affirm that. But it has to be returned. That's the rightful thing to do, because just because the government, the United States Incorporated, government, govern, control, manage, steward of the mind, government, control your mind. Just because they said, oh yeah, this house is for sale, the bank owns it. They never gave you the allodial title. They never gave me the allodial title. So who really owns this land? It's got to be returned. That's called theft if we don't give it back. Noni says, my mother lost my childhood home my dad had built for less than $2,000 worth of property taxes. Wow. You're welcome. Constance says, thank you, Dr. Kia, for being real. You're welcome. It's just true, family. We got to give it back. But you have wealth is what I'm saying. Even if you come from, you know, another landmass and you're here in America, you're going to find out that your bloodline own something where you come from, even if they don't own land rights or mineral rights or whatever, or water rights, they do have something. And we have sovereign wealth funds all over the world. Oil rich nations, they give many of them their people an allotment of money every month. Unfortunately, they would like the people in Middle Eastern regions, they don't want to call themselves African, even though the Middle East is in Africa, because a lot of them that had come through there are really not from that bloodline, which is why they cover themselves up, you know, from the sun, because if they had high concentration of melanin like the rest of the Africans, they'd be able to survive in the sun, but they had to cover it up and say it's because of Muslim things, and that might be a part of it. But also they come from another bloodline. Some of them may not even be human. I don't know, but they do a lot of stuff like defecate on each other, rape children, have sex with children, have slaves, do a lot of anal sex, pee, urinate, and poop on people. And yeah. So they might live in Africa, but they'll tell you they're not African. A lot of them that were protected by the United States Incorporated, those oil-rich nations, they might have given the pennies of money. They gave a pretty nice money amount to their people, but they hired in the Africans as slaves, the Nigerians and other Africans, because they from the Middle East. We not going to do the work. We're going to hire the darkies. See how they do, people? And then the women that think they coming up in the world, they want to sleep with a Saudi prince. We're going to pee on them, poop on them, rape them, gang bang through them. Oh, people talk about it. I'm talking about what the women who've been through that experience talk about. publicly on social media. But did you know that the United States incorporated this bloodline family that took authority from our republic and called themselves the nonprofit religious organization, had an agreement with the Saudi princes to protect their kingdom in exchange for the oil? And they forced all nations to get oil only from Saudi Arabia. And they had to use the United States dollar that came from the central bank system, the Federal Reserve Central Bank system that's attached to and is the monetary component of the United States Incorporated. Why do they have an agreement with the Saudi princes? Who are the Saudi princes? What is that bloodline? I don't know. But I will tell you that the people in oil-rich nations do give their people a certain amount of money. Some people call it universal basic income. Some people just call it an allotment because they're wealthy. They bring in people from other nations to do the menial task. They have wealth. They have oil. They have sovereign wealth funds. Other nations all over the globe have sovereign wealth funds. Other nations have trusts. The Saint Germain Trust isn't the only trust. The King Solomon Trust is the only. The ancient Asian dynasties that have trust, the Red Dragon Society, there are trusts that indigenous trusts, there are trusts that exist all across the globe for different families' bloodlines that have to be honored and disseminated to the rightful heirs. Like I said, birthright, blood right, two different things. Some people say I was born on this land, so I was born in America, even though my blood didn't come from here. Therefore, I deserve it. I have a right to be here. I have a right to housing. I have a right to vote. I have a right to work. I have a right to do whatever I want. Oh, they'll be arrogant about it. I have a right because I was born here. My parents aren't from here, but I was born. I have a right. Well, that's why President Trump is challenging birthright citizenship. That's something that the United States Incorporated and created, not the lawful government. Take it up with your government. Take it up with your own government abroad, at home. Take it up with the United States Incorporated. But the republic is being returned and things are turning around. Late in the midnight hour, God's going to work in your favor. What else is the word? He's going to work in your favor. He's going to turn it around, y'all. And around, and around, and around, and around. Things are changing. So we in America have what's called a sovereign wealth fund that President Trump created. Click this. The sovereign wealth fund is something that President Trump created as soon as he came in on his second term. The sovereign wealth fund is comprised of gold, silver, palladium, platinum, other metals, rare earth minerals, money from the tariffs, from taxation and taxing other countries, stocks, bonds, real estate, mining, all of that. And that wealth fund will be disseminated back to we the people. That's a sovereign wealth fund that a lot of nations already have. President Trump said, other nations have it. Why shouldn't we? And it will be done for a couple of reasons: to fund or take care of the infrastructure, to make investments, and to take care of the people. So everybody's going to be wealthy. You got the sovereign wealth fund. You have the land rights that come through your blood rights from wherever you're from. You have dynasties from which many of you come. You have trusts that your family members created, and farms and lands that you don't even know about because the governments in your nation took over through eminent domain or outright stole or confiscated through bankruptcy or foreclosures and sold off to other people. But you're a loyal title. They know who owns those lands. And if you say, look, this family has more than I, maybe we need to learn how to get along so we can barter with each other and nobody has to feel left out. Maybe some people really marry like they used to back in the day to bring tribes together, bring nations together for the right reason. But there are lawful ways to do things. My major point is everybody is going to be wealthy. Look at my videos under the National Economic Security and Wealth Reformation Act. There's a global version called the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act. everything is going to work out in our favor. And all those entities that were allowed to be here to take the blood, the energy, and the resources of natural men and women all over the world, those entities are being fought right now by the military and by some of those beings that have returned from the ancestral lands. Because there were many resets here on planet Earth, or Terra, whatever we call it, Turtle Island. There were many, many resets where these beings came here and used their advanced technology after they, enslaved and harmed as many as they could and wiped out the population here. But you did have some that escaped because there were giants. Remember the Nephilim? They call them sons of God. These are beings that came from other places, made it with the daughters of men. They made it with humans. And they created the giants or the Nephilim. Some of the giants actually worked on behalf and in favor of the humans because they came from the humans. They were part human and part something else. So some of them helped the humans. They helped them escape through advanced technology. They moved beyond the ice walls, or they went through certain portals and made it to another landmass that they called the Ancestral Republic. And there are other places that they're living as well. Some of them have returned. That's why they reported they saw drones in the sky that were the size of ships, because they came back. And would they come back in? These large ships, advanced technology. Where were they hovering? Around military bases, around certain farmlands, around certain neighborhoods and communities, because they've returned to come and help humanity, some of whom they're related, some because they have empathy for the humans that have gone through many resets. I encourage you to read Terra Infinita and all of his volumes, because it's a profound book, whether you believe it or not. It's really, really interesting. So speaking of portals through which a lot of these entities came to come here and to help us, a lot of entities also were exited or deported from the planet. So some of the deportation is about immigrants and aliens that they call foreigners here. Some of this deportation is about deporting energies, deporting entities and beings that are not human out of this plane. Trump and the military was doing that in his first administration. That's why around 2019, when there was a huge 4th of July celebration, he said in his big speech, we've done everything in our power as the military. I'm putting a lot of money into the military, and we're doing everything in our power to secure the skies, because there were a lot of entities that were coming here that were disrupting the earth plane with their energies and their ships. But now we have other entities that have come. Remember, they said they saw drones in the sky that were bigger than ships. There's advanced technology about which we have no knowledge, but a lot of these energies and a lot of these beings are being deported out of here. What else do I want to say about portals? In case you didn't know it, Pope Francis, who is the head of, or was the head of the United States Incorporated, because people tell me, oh, he died already. Okay, but well, you know how they like to use figures and put them in masks. I don't know who's wearing that mask. But he opened several portals. Do you remember that? Let me see if I can find how many portals he opened around December. Keep checking in, family. I'm going to see if I can find that article that says Pope Francis, he opened 5 portals. And one of them closes on January the 5th. I would be looking for something to happen between now and January the 5th. One thing that happened that's huge is silver exploded. Gold exploded, especially silver. Within hours, what was it, Friday, silver went from $74 or $75 to $80. And then last night, I'm going to get to Pope Francis portals in a minute. Last night, while silver was $70.25, APMEX updated their website to say silver is now $80.59. And I was like, it's not really usual. Oh, now it's saying $81.59. Oh my God. Just Friday, silver was $75. How is it $81.59? They usually don't update their websites on the weekend, especially not Saturday or Sunday. I don't even think they usually do it on Sunday. I wonder if markets have switched over now that it's Sunday in other countries. Do you see that silver is $81.59? Gold is $4,549.88. Platinum, of course, is $2,464. Palladium is $1,957. Look at what's going. Silver and gold going up, but silver is going to outpace gold. A lot is happening. But remember, Pope Francis opened the Jubilee portals. Pope Francis is the one who headed the nonprofit religious organization that was called the United States Corporation. Remember, corpse means dead, right? And I'm gonna get on off here soon because I do not want to keep y'all too long. We're just looking for the portals. Here we go. When you hear me say clip this, I'm saying that because the software that I have will clip certain critical points of my speech. And then I will put that in to put it all across my social media as a 1 minute, 1 or 2 minute clip so that you can catch up on the news without having to necessarily, watch a 2-hour video. But if you don't watch the whole video, you might not get everything. So outside the walls on January the 5th, 2025 is when Pope Francis will do something significant. But here are specific dates where Pope Francis opened what he called a holy door, and he called it specifically the 2025 Jubilee portals. I want you to look it up because I'm wrapping up here. You have to do some research on your own if you are inclined. December the 24th, 2024, at the Vatican, the Pope opened St. Peter's Basilica. He opened a 2025 Jubilee portal. He also opened up another one December the 26th, 2024. He opened up a third one December 29, 2024. He will open up a fourth one January the 1st, 2025. No, this is wrong. No. Oh, and he opened up another one January the 5th, 2025. He's supposed to open up one January 2026. Hold on, family. So he did, those are portals that he opened, but let me see when the last one he opens. Let me see if he opens one. So he opened up, I'll show you the articles that he says he opened up Jubilee portals. Pope Francis opens Jubilee portals. Those portals being open, according to the articles, are rituals. Of course, we knew that, but here's one article I want you to see, but I'm looking for the last one I believe, and I have to see that the last one he will open is in 2026. Can y'all see this? No, you can't. My apologies. Pope Francis opens Holy Door, inaugurating 2025 Jubilee. Pope Francis opens the Holy Door of St. Peter's Basilica, thereby officially inaugurating the 2025 Jubilee of Hope. He reassures during his Christmas evening mass, this happened in 2024, that the Christ child of Bethlehem offers the world infinite hope and joy. This was a ritual. He called it the ritual of opening the Jubilee portal. At the same time, not at the same time, but on the same date, Zero Hedge came out with an article that now has since been archived. But they came out with an article the same date, December 24, 2024, which was Christmas Eve, that said we're going to experience a debt jubilee in biblical proportions. A debt jubilee of biblical proportions is coming. Are you ready? Now, many times I've done my podcast, I actually read the article, but it has since been archived. So the day before Christmas, he opened up one of the portals, then he opened up five. He opened up a total of 5. But my point is, the rituals mean something. This is supposed to be the year, 2025 is supposed to be the year of Jubilee. This could be why there's a silver squeeze, where some of the banks and other wealthy people that have are asking for their silver, calling on their silver to be given back to them. And now the banks that don't have them, because they've been giving out paper silver, and they gave out paper silver to a whole bunch of people, and a whole bunch of people own these few paper contracts. And now they're like, people that lent them, they're supposed to get the silver back. It's like, no, I need my silver. I need my money. Where's my money? So now they're saying this silver squeeze, this dilemma is causing the silver prices to go up and the gold prices to go up. But in addition to that, you have all these countries that are no longer trading with the dollar, the United States dollar, the USD. They're only trading with their currency backed by precious metals. And in order to do that, before they even did that, they started accumulating silver and gold in record numbers between 2018 and 2025. This is why the demand for silver and gold is going up. Whether it be those people that have paper contracts want their silver delivered to them, or it be the fact that central banks have been accumulating gold, or it's because people like you and I, we're doing what we can, even if it's just 1, 2, a couple ounces, gold back, gold RM notes, whatever you can get. Silver jewelry, sterling silver, constitutional silver, junk silver, whatever. People are now saying, I need some silver, I need some gold, because gold and silver heals, fights against viruses, addresses brain-emitting amoebas, help you with better dreams and visions. And according to Article 1, Section 10 of our Constitution, and many constitutions of many republics all over the world, is defined as money. So people are getting silver and gold, and it adorns you. Not only is it beautiful, but it does something for you. I want you to look it up. Not only is it beautiful to wear and it's good to take, monoatomic and colloidal gold and silver, and copper, but it also helps with joint pain. When I was coming up, doctors would tell people to put on copper bracelet on their knees and on their arms in order to deal with joint pains. When I lived in West Virginia, a lot of people that lived in the hollers or the hollows of the mountains drank a lot of silver. There are many reasons why people are blue. It's not just about interbreeding. It's also because a lot of them drank a lot of silver. Remember I told you that a lot of Caucasian people classified as white didn't trust doctors from rural communities or from medically underserved communities. Even in the hollers, what we call the hollers, when I went to grad school in West Virginia, the hollers, the hollows on the mountains, they didn't trust doctors. So in order to not get sick, a lot of them would drink silver, colloidal silver. They would purify their water with silver because they lived in the mountains. But silver and gold will continue to explode, family. Things are turning around. Whether you have fiat or not, and you can put it over in the silver and gold or not, you're very wealthy. And you will have the rights, the blood rights to your lands from which you come. You will have the trusts that were created in your name. You will have benefits under Nasara and Jasara, which include doing away with the governments, which would include world peace, which include doing away with taxation, which includes the return of silver and gold as money, and includes everybody on planet Earth receiving a certain amount of money every single month, a significant amount, in the amount of tens of thousands per month. And the return of gold standard will therefore lower the prices, and it would increase your buying power. Things are turning around. And now I want to know what your thoughts are. I'm looking at when does Pope Francis close the last Jubilee door. That one, Google said it was sometime in 2025. But I thought he was going to close one in 2026. Y'all help me if you can find when does he close the last Jubilee door. A final message from the holy door and what's next. Oh, the holy door. They're going through all about what Pope Francis does, how this is a ritual, etc., etc. I just want to get to when is the last door closing. Let me know your thoughts, family. We were supposed to be in, yeah, it says this is, but the legacy of this jubilee, the confessions you've made, the prayers you offered, the steps you walk, even if just in the spirit remains, Pope Francis said. And we can end with this. Thank you for being here, family. Thank you for 900 people being in the chat. I appreciate you. I won't hold you. Give me 5 more minutes. From the Majesty of St. Peter's, no, wait a minute. Let's start at the beginning. The Jubilee ends. Okay, a final message from the holy doors and what's next. Not that we should be concerned about what the Pope is doing, but they always tell you what's going to happen. They have a law that they agree to, their law, that they must tell you what's happening. This article was published December 22nd, 2025. The Jubilee ends, it says, but if your heart stays open, the grace of this holy year doesn't have to. Since the first door was opened by Pope Francis on December 24th, 2024, nearly 30 million pilgrims have crossed their threshold seeking mercy, healing, and renewal. From the Majesty of St. Peter's to the quiet dignity of Rebibia prison, special doors, these sacred thresholds have welcomed everyone from cardinals to convicts. And the reason why they opened their door or the portal at a prison was because the symbology, it symbolizes letting the captives go free. Remember, that's a part of ancient dynasties. We're talking about Jubilee. If people were high in debt or had debt, any debt, every 7 years you had to let the slaves go free and you had to free them from people from debt. You had to wipe out the debt, let the slaves go free, and give the land mass a break. That means give the land a break every 7 years. Then you count a cycle of 7 years, which is 49, do the same thing, and prepare for the 50th Jubilee year celebration. We're in that 50th Jubilee year. That's another reason silver and gold is going up. That's another reason why you see nations, saying that we're not going to participate with the United States Incorporated, because they're recognizing that we've entered a whole new reality. It's another reason people are waking up and saying, hey, we've been lied to about so many different things. It's the reason why people are saying, hey, there are people that are coming in. Even in Europe, there's people that's coming there taking their jobs. Well, if you send those people back home, then Europeans can have the jobs there. It's happening all over the world where they're sending in migrants and immigrants that have a landmass. The closing ceremony will begin on Christmas Day. Here we go. As the holy door at St. Mary's Major shuts. Over the following days, each of Rome's basilicas will hold a final celebration until January the 6th, 2026, when Pope Leo the 14th, is that right? I think that will close the holy door of St. Basilicas and mark the official end of the Jubilee. Why hasn't anything happened? When are we going to RV? When are we going to go to the banks? Why don't we see Nasara happening? I've reported that many times on many videos that Nasara is actually happening. You just have to know where to look. But when are we going to really see it as a people? Like, say I'm a person that's carnal and I don't see spiritual things, or I don't do my research. When will I see it with my natural eyes? Well, I can tell you one thing. Between December the 24th, 2024 and January the 6th, 2026, a whole lot happened from the beginning of the portal opening. But here you see the last one, the final celebration will be January the 6th, 2026. 2 + 2 + 4 is 10. Somebody do the gematria on what 10 represents. Somebody do the gematria on January 6th, 2026. That's 10 + 6. This is 10, which is a 1, which is the beginning of a year, or 1 is the leader. You do 10 + 6, that's 16 + 1, that's 17. 1 plus 7, 1 plus 6 is 7, plus 20, 26, 2 plus 2 plus 6. That's the number 17. So just maybe something huge is going to happen on or around the last portal. The portal, actually, all these portals were closed as of January 20, open at January 2024, 2024, January 24, 2024, and the last one will close January 6th. Yes, where we go one, we go all. The government is getting rid of copper pipes now and pennies because it heals us. All right, thank you for that. Thank you so much. Copper is a precious metal and it heals us, and it's only a certain amount. It's like less than $3 right now. Welcome to Nasara family. Everything we're talking about is about the liberation. Thank you. About being free, liberation of all peoples. And we're there, family. What happened to the other 70 Jubilee when nothing was given back to the people? This will be the first time in history land is given back. Yep, but you have people, you have beings in power that's making sure it happens. And you have people that are actually doing certain methodologies that we don't know about. They're going through certain lawful techniques right now, like sitting in their rightful seat, going and challenging the United States Incorporated here in America, in the Philippines, and all over the world. They're going through proper rights and procedures to reclaim the land. It's going to all be given back. You're right that we haven't had many jubilees to happen because once we became enslaved under the United States Incorporated and those bloodline entities, they just decided not to do it. But everything is being reversed. Somebody said both silver and copper have healing properties if you wear them. Yes, silver, copper, and gold. That's the real reason they came from. And remember, the Anunnaki, according to legend, came to the earth plane to mine gold to heal their atmosphere. They first used the beings that were called the E.T.s, and then they used modern man to heal their whole environment. So family, things are changing. I don't want to keep you too long. I do hear you all when you say some of the videos are too long for your attention span, and I understand that. I'm okay. I do know that, people have things to do. And I also know that, we're in this period where people, we listen to videos, we like things done right away. We're on our devices. We don't read big books. When you read a book, some of the books will be so thick, it would take a long time to get through them. I got my book about the military, us being under military law. I can't find it, but it's about that thick. So sitting for a whole long 2-3 hour video could be a lot. Oh, Jeffrey Short says, Dr. Kia, show the article I sent you about copper. Okay, thank you. Sassy Girl said, I can listen all day. Thank you, Sassy Girl. You sent me an article, Jeffrey Short. Jeffrey will tell you all the time, I'm still holding my Bolivar. I'm still holding my copper. And he told the Soul family a while ago, get copper. And that made me look and see, that I look and I found out that copper and silver on America was just added to America's new critical minerals list. And they're taking copper off the streets for a reason. I'm looking for, where'd you send it to, darling? Jeffrey, did you send it to my Facebook or an email? My grandchildren are so patient with me. I think you must have sent it to my Facebook. Thank you for all those that sent a gift, a cash app gift. Family, I appreciate you. Jeffrey, where is it? Jeffrey, can you please tell me where you sent the article you want me to read on silver? On copper, please. Somebody says, Dr. Kia, don't change anything. Oh, thank you. Keep them as long as you lead by spirit to do so. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you. Only pennies minted before 1963. Okay. You still here? I'm still here. Love you, mama. Which I need to know where you sent the article, Jeffrey, or can you put the link here in the chat? The government wants to take hold of precious metals so we can't heal ourselves. Woo! That's right. That's why we need to be getting as much as we can. You can go to your own, your local coin dealer, family. Y'all know that I have an affiliation with Miles Franklin Precious Metals. Remember, urban mining is still fruitful. Oh, okay. And don't forget your foreign currencies. Absolutely. Easy, informative listening while engaging in your hobbies. That's awesome. Jeffrey wanted me to read you all an article that he sent me on copper, but I don't see it. Family, make it a plan of yours to go meet your local coin dealer, because your local coin dealer can talk to you about, the laws as they're changing. As you all know, I've reported, I didn't hear this from my local. In fact, I told my local coin dealer this before it was, public knowledge. 45 states repealed the state sales taxes from the sales of precious metals, acknowledging silver and gold as money. Okay, you all are helping each other. Bolivar will rise. Yes. Jeffrey, I don't see the article you want me to read about copper and silver, but the Venezuelan Bolivar will rise. A lot of foreign currencies will rise because many countries' currencies were sanctioned through war. If those currencies wouldn't participate in getting oil from Saudi Arabia or trading even with the USD, the United States dollar, then their countries were decimated through war, or the presidents empowered over the United States Incorporated would sanction those nations, and then their countries' GDP would plummet, the gross domestic product, their economy would plummet, and therefore their currencies would devalue. Wiz said, Dr. Kia, would you please explain why you are fine using AI, getting information from the rich folks and corporations who run everything? Aren't you trusting propaganda when you do that? No, I won't explain it. Any other questions? So family, stay encouraged. Things are turning around. I'm so excited. January the 6th, 2026, the last portal of Pope Francis closes. It symbolizes something. We're going to have to maybe get one of our sheiks on here to describe it, or somebody that knows about it. I don't know who you're saying is not a trustworthy source. Everything I do is backed up. I mean, if you're talking about the sources that I bring up, I triangulate my sources. But no, I don't explain everything I do. It's none of your business. It actually does hurt that I fell from heaven sometime. And heavy is the head that wears the crown. I'm just joking. All right, family. Thank you so much for everything that you've done. Thank you for being here. I love you all. I was trying to see if you all had something you wanted me to put up, like, an article you wanted me to read or anything as we close out. Hopefully you all will join me on Monday at 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Chief Rod Hayes. We will be on the Arisha Stone Show. Monday, what is that? December the 29th, 2025 at 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And they are saying that I will speak about wealth. And I'm so excited. Let me see if I can find his channel. I hope you all join us there. Please go to his channel, like and subscribe, and join us at 8:00. I'll show you that link to the live, and I'll put it in the description section and the chat, where he calls, or that program, that particular channel calls Monday Matriarch Mondays. I'm going to show you his, or I think it's a gentleman. I was invited by Chief Rod Hayes, also known as Chief Pontiac. Matriarch Monday. Matriarch Monday will feature Minister of Wealth, Dr. Kia Pruitt, on their show on Monday. This is what it looks like. This is the advertisement. This is the channel, Orisha Stone. And here you could see their picture here so you know who it is. You guys will see me Monday at 8 o'clock. So let me go ahead. That's just tomorrow evening. And I'll go ahead and put that link in the chat for you. It's right there. Somebody said, Dr. Kia, that animation of you is fire. I'll show it to you. And the person that's offended by it, just don't watch it. I still love you. You don't have to watch anything that offends you or you think AI is not right. You know, whatever. I get it. I do. Because anything, do you know that when you're going through Walmart and you go through the line that doesn't have a person to help you, that could be considered AI. Do you know the traffic light that turns red or green? That could be considered AI. There's a lot of technology that we've been using for a long time that's artificial. We just didn't know it. So let me see if I can find. Yep, I'm gonna bring it up for you, family. Thank you. Thank you so much for the Cash App blessing. Somebody said it's beautiful. We are too high vibing for others, I guess. Thank you, family. So let me bring this up for you. I understand new stuff makes us uncomfortable. I don't even know how I feel about a lot of things, but I'm grateful that this was created for me. I love it. I think it's beautiful. Let me see if I pull it up, if you'll be able to see it, and we can end with this. Oops. Sorry, family. It would give me problems. Come on down. Oh, I think I got to turn on. I got to click on it. Okay. I'll show it again. I apologize. There's some issues. Something's wrong with my internet. So I'll put that in the description section. JPMorgan Chase, 8 p.m. with Dr. Kia Pruitt. Okay, I'll put that here. AI is really interesting. So I'll put that in the description section, or you can go to my shorts on my YouTube channel. And I wanted to end with that, but Jeffrey, that was you. You said you sent it to my Facebook Messenger, an article you want me to read about copper to the soul family. Okay. I have 2 Facebook Messengers, right? So I got to see which one you sent. I have my professional page, Jeffrey Short, and my, thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you. U.S. officially adds copper and silver to its critical minerals list. Yes, I'll bring that article up. So I see the clip you took over. Let's see, U.S. officially. Hold on. I see the article. And this is what about which I was speaking to. But I did become more aware of copper. My first piece of copper in 2018, but I wasn't it that time it was only $89, and I really looking at silver. But Jeffrey, when you told in our private group you was talking about copper, I was like, you know what, he's on to something. And then I noticed it has increased by $2. United States, who is the USGS, officially adds copper, silver to critical minerals list. Let me see. For some reason, my internet is buffering. I apologize for that. United States, I might have too many things up. United States has added copper and silver to an expanded list of critical minerals that it deemed to be vital to America's economy and national security. The new list, compiled by the United States Geological Survey, includes 10 additions to the previous one in 2022, taking the total to 60. The other notable additions are uranium, metallurgical coal, potash, rhenium, silicon, and lead. The addition of copper and silver confirms the earlier draft list proposed by the United States Geological Survey. We strongly support the USGS's decision to add copper to the critical mineral list, Adam Estelle, president and CEO of the Copper Development Association, said in an email to mining.com. As CDA has long championed through our Copper is Critical campaign, copper holds the key to achieving America's top policy objectives, including energy dominance, AI supremacy, national security, and reindustrialization, he added. Look how red that is. Not only a red wave, but that reminds me of the Moroccan flag. This whole talk about copper, it all has to do with America. All has to do with the original American Indians and the copper-colored people that are here. I'm telling you what I know. Abraham Lincoln, he was on that penny for a reason. The USGS said it devised the list by using an economic model that it developed to estimate the potential effects of foreign trade disruptions of mineral commodities. Thank you, Brother Jeffrey Short. The assessment spans 84 mineral commodities, 402 industries, and more than 1,200 scenarios, which the USGS says offers a more realistic and usable framework for policymakers. The critical minerals list serves as a basis for which commodities the Trump administration will invoke a Section 232 probe for potential tariffs and trade restrictions, as it has done with copper earlier this year. The list would also inform areas of investments in mining and resource recovery from mine waste, stockpiles, tax incentives for United States mineral processing, as well as streamlined mine permitting. The update comes just days after the United States and China agreed to resolve their issues over rare earth minerals, which makes up 15 entries or a quarter of total on the USGS list. Silver and copper were added to the critical minerals list, family, for a reason. No, we don't have any Forex updates. However, if you are a part of the Soul Tribe membership private group, you know we talked about how we know that there are some updates that everybody's not talking about that will lead us to know, not believe, but to know that the Iraqi dinar and other currencies are ready to be exchanged. If you're interested in joining our private group, let me see where I can find it. We have a group called the Silver Soul Tribe Silver Soul Tribe membership group. You can join, hit the join button on any of our videos, any of my videos, or even on this video or my main channel. I also put up the link because we shared protocol. We share information on what you need if you are going to exchange foreign currencies. And this ain't document from Dr. Kia Pruitt. This is document from a legitimate source. And I'll just leave it at that. You can join a private membership group if you want to know more. And I'll show you that video. But we talk about all type of things in that private group about wealth. We talk about precious metals. We talk about investments. We talk about family, wealth, and legacy. Part of that was we worked together to create mission statements and vision statements for ourselves and our family. And we talk about different investments that nobody's talking about. But we just some of that information is sacred. When you share information that everybody's, may not be interested in, and somebody might get upset with you, they can flag your video. So I'm very careful. I had people flag my video when I was talking about gold a while ago, before everybody else started talking about gold a couple years ago. My videos were taken down just like that. I had 9 of them taken down. I've been censored all across social media. When I was talking about BRICS before everybody was talking about it. And I was talking, I had people, fellow podcasters who were reporting my stuff. But it's okay. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can find the video we did yesterday. It was the video that I did yesterday called Q&A with Dr. Kia Pruitt in my private membership group. That's a very important video. Even if you go to the middle, from the middle all the way to the end, that video was really, really important because it talked about foreign currency exchanges. Let me see. I'm going to show you what my private membership group is, and then we got to get out of here, family. Oh, it's Sunday. That's why y'all still here with me. I'm like, why y'all still here with me? I don't want to keep you or bore you. Great news for currency holders. That is a great video. It talks about that video and this video here. Oh, this is the video that talk about how we know banks are ready for foreign currency exchanges. I show all the articles that show that banks met globally. That's a very important video in the membership group. This one is a short and condensed version of that video where I talk about banks being ready for currency exchanges. This video, Q&A with Dr. Kia Pruitt, that's the one yesterday that we did where we gave breaking Iraq, Syria, Vietnam news, and we talked about banking protocols for foreign currency exchanges from a very legitimate source. Another video in here in this is about how to create humanitarian projects. Now I have one on my main channel that Dr. Gold Star Mother Susan Price and I did. That's a very good one on my main channel. But in my membership group, I give a condensed version that's short, straight to the point. It is not several hours long. It's very, very quick, very condensed, very good, with supporting evidence that, or supporting things that will help you create your humanitarian project. So again, if you are interested in joining the membership group, then here is the link. I'm not sure what legacy writing is, dear. You said, do I have a template for what's legacy writing? We talk about legacy. You have to tell me exactly. I know we do have people that can help you with estate planning, but I'm not sure what legacy writing is. Can you let me know what you mean? Because I might be calling it another thing. Thank you, Tech Goddess. Tech Goddess said, Dr. Kia, thank you so much for your due diligence and educating your viewers on the truth about the African American and Black monikers and who the original Americans really are. You're welcome. It's my great pleasure. With copper, we can generate free energy. Oh, I got chills when you said that, Noni. Oh my gosh. Oh, you know what? That must be. Oh, I don't know. Like I got goosebumps. Woo, child. That's. I think that's the sermon for today. That gave me um, excitement. That made me have chills. Are you Moroccan or something? Moroccans are not black. Somebody asked me. My I'm a mixture of Cherokee, Blackfoot, Indian, and some other tribes. My people that came from Colombia are also from indigenous tribes there. And by the way, the Colombian president made a statement to the world in front of the United Nations that the copper-colored peoples are the original indigenous Americans in the Americas. Very profound speech he gave. Just coming in and got you a new tablet and phone yesterday. All right, Sister Barbara Pittman, I'm excited for you. All right. Thank you, family, for being here. Thank you for listening to the podcast. We talked about all the different people coming from different landmass that are here working in every segment of our society, taking on professional roles, and how through Trump's denaturalization and his hard stance on immigration and migration is going to cause people to go back home so they can utilize their brain power and their energy and expertise to help rebuild their countries. Additionally, another reason he's sending people back home is because under the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act, the Jasara, they have to be back in their own landmass to receive the benefits of their country. We talked about the sovereign wealth plan and how that is comprised of different minerals, stocks, bonds, tariff money, tax money, natural resources, etc., to be used for investing, to build up our infrastructure, and to help the American people, and how that is a fund that all nations have. We also talked about how silver is exploding. It's now $81.59 according to APMEX, and how they updated their website and their price Saturday night, which is unusual. That when it had been $79.25 and it went to $80.59. Now it's up a whole dollar. This is Saturday and Sunday. They usually don't update them. Usually we see new prices in the morning, but silver jumped by $5 just Friday from $75 when we woke up to $80. So something is happening, because just last week silver was $67 an ounce, and now it's just going to keep going up and up and up. Gold right now is $4,549.88. I am an affiliate with Miles Franklin. If you are inclined, you can get gold and silver from there. 952-929-7006, or send an email to info@milesfranklin.com and let them know that Dr. Kia Pruitt referred you. But you can also, go to your local coin shop. Google coin shop near me, coin company near me, and go build a relationship with the coin dealers that are there. Okay. You want to do that because you never know when you want to buy up precious metals or sell them or exchange them back for the fiat, whatever fiat we're going to be on. And that's a place you can also get some foreign currencies. You can also get foreign currencies online. We also talked about how Pope Francis opened up portals, Jubilee portals, 2025 Jubilee portals. The first of which he opened December 24, 2024, and he opened up several others thereafter. But the remaining portal that he will actually close a portal. The last portal with which he would deal is January the 6th, 2026. So I said, these are all rituals. They're letting you know that this is Jubilee season. We were in the year of 9 in 2025. 2 + 0 + 2 + 5 = 9. 9 is the number of completion. It's the end of one thing and the beginning of something else. The end of one empire, the beginning of a new empire or a new reality. It was the end of Piscean season all the way to the Aquarian ages where we're entering. 2026 is 10. But it's also 1 + 0 = 1. It's the beginning, new beginning. It's a new season. It's a new day, right? Let's see if we can go on and sing that song. I'm not a singer, but I do like to sing. We got any singers in here? My computer don't want to work with me. Y'all look up It's a New Season, because the creator is Source, and all of our ancestors that have some, oh, remember I was telling you some of the ancestors escaped resets, and they had the help of the giants, and they went behind the ice walls. They made it out through portals. And some people actually traveled through ships. But even when they traveled through ships, according to the books I've read, they end up going through portals. And then you have beings on the other side of those portals that use their advanced technology to stop you, or that some souls of people have gotten lost through those portals and never been returned, never heard of again. But some of them went and they lived in these lands where there are humans that are there, that they call themselves the ancestors. And they are in what's called the Ancestral Republic. They have their own libraries. They have their own way of life. They have beautiful stories out of there. One of the captains that were from a military here in America actually was traveling beyond the ice walls and met a woman, according to the story, in the Ancestral Republic, and they made a baby. And that baby writes books or gives her stories about what happened during several resets. Terra Infinita is a book on Amazon that you will find where that says. So a lot of our ancestors are back. They went to the Ancestral Republic and other lands. Mars is also on the other side, but Mars, according to the books I read, is actually not in the sky, but again, behind the ice wall on the landmass. And that's the place where a lot of government agents and other human beings went to. They were awarded for their participation in enslaving humanity. Thank you. So, but they didn't know when they got to those lands, to Mars, that Mars is a place that also enslaves people. They're also colonized. And the original Martians, according to the books that I've read, they no longer live. It's repopulated with beings and people from different places, but especially government agencies and different I would say people that classify themselves as entertainers that help to enslave and propagandize humanity or unalive humanity. That was their reward, but they had no idea that they will also be mistreated there over in Mars. So family, that's it. Thank you for your time. We've been on for a while now. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for the sharing of the information. Thank you for the article on copper, Brother Jeffrey Short. Thank you for somebody saying what we can do with copper and some of these other minerals. Mr. Ronald said, I don't know about a singer, but you have a poet in your audience. I love that. You got a piece you want to read to us? You want to read something to us? I love the longer knowledge that you bring, Dr. Kia. A queen, thank you for all you do. Been watching you since the beginning of this movie. Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Jills. I appreciate that. Wow. I am so honored. Thank you. You're welcome, family. They didn't show the comment about the trolls trolling because silver is on a rocket. Oh yeah, and copper, we can generate free energy. That gave me chill for a long time. Family, thank you for blessing me monetarily as well. I appreciate you. I desire for you, okay, to start your own bank. Okay, get you some silver and gold, copper, foreign currencies, whatever you can. So even jewelry, you can go to pawn shops and get jewelry for cheap, right? Antique shops. Go online, go to online dealers, SD Bullion, JM Bullion, Miles Franklin Precious Metals, Money Metals, with a Great American Coin Company, eBay, if you are inclined. They have Banknote World for currencies, 100 trillions with an S.com, Safe Dinar, all types of places you can go for currencies. When you open up your mind and ask yourself, how can I? How can I accumulate wealth for my family? How can I build a legacy? What can I do? The universe will conspire to assist you, and all your celestial help, your ancestors, and your spiritual mentors, spirit guides, what people call guardian angels, will help you, and your brain will just open up to many opportunities. Remember, I said that the wise person leaves an inheritance for their children's children, and the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. A lot of people waiting for that wealth of the wicked to be confiscated via Executive Order 138/18 and other executive orders, and just be confiscated by the good guys in the military and be redistributed. And that's awesome. The other part of the scripture is that a wise person leaves an inheritance for their children. So utilize the information that we give you, accumulate silver, gold, copper, which is very inexpensive, foreign currency, some which you can get for $1, some you can go to an antique shop and get stuff. Hold on to your computers, your cell phones, your appliances, your cars, your old motors, your catalytic converter, because they all have silver contained in them. Your solar panels, your copper wiring, all that as well. Also, wealth is information. Wealth is knowledge. Wealth are your values. All these things, store them up. Know what they are. Build upon them. Your skills, that's wealth. You know how to cook, pass it down to your future, your generation, your grandchildren, your children. You know how to farm, how to grow food, pass that down. You know how to fix shoes. We went to shoemakers and shoe repair people when I was growing up. And the whole families owned shoe repair shops in my community when I was growing up. Learn how to do it. Learn how to work with herbs and other things. They have herbs out there that ashwagandha. They have another one I used to take. I can't remember what it was. It was a Chinese herb that this gentleman stumbled upon in China, and they say he couldn't have children, and he started taking it. And he lived to be back in his hundreds and was having children. That might be just a folklore, but it's what I heard, what I read, based on taking this herb. Work with herbs. Learn how to do that. If you already know how to do it, hone your skills. That's wealth. Thank you. Somebody says you're beautiful. You're one of God's messengers. Thank you. If you're a writer, a singer, a songwriter, somebody said, I'm a dynamic singer. You want to come on and close us out with a song? Golden Child, because you sure can. Let me know if you do in the comments. Whatever your skill is, you do hair, pass it down. Teach a mentee. Teach it to your children. You know how to sing? We need good singers with nice, high vibrational music. Whatever you know how to do, pass that information on to your future generations, to your grandchildren, your children, your great-grands. That's all wealth. The wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. But a wise man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Whatever inheritance we have, whatever skills, gifts, abilities, values we have, don't forget about man-made metals. Thank you. Whatever silver, gold, precious metals, foreign currencies, land we have. You know, the one of the values of the wealthy is never sell the land. We can pass on. So family, I'm really going to go out now. Dr. Kia, I'm in tears listening to you. Oh, thank you. You are so blessed. You are so blessed by the Creator to do what you are doing. And I can totally relate. And what I can't relate to, I'm picking up as we go along. Thank you. Thank you so much. You are such a blessing to me. I appreciate you. I love you. I'm very, very grateful that you all give me the opportunity. No singing, please. Okay. That you all give me the opportunity to share this information that the Creator and our ancestors and spirit guides, give for me to share. Because without you, I would not be relevant. So thank you so much, family, for being here. Thank you for everything, family. I love you. My name is Dr. Kia Pruitt. I had a great time being here with you. I trust that I've said something to raise your vibrations and inspire you to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve. I love you so, family. I see somebody saying, drop the link. Oh, okay. Okay, you want a link? Come on. I was just about to go. Hold on. He said, drop the link. Are you sure? Dr. Pruitt, I follow you because when you breathe, I can't feel those vibes. Thank you. Peace. And what else did you say? Here's the link. Don't forget, and what's man-made metals that we should remember to invest in, Jeffrey? I follow you because when you breathe, I can't feel those vibes. Peace and love. Thanks. I love you too. Peace and love to you too. I dropped the link, Mr. Singer. I love you more. I'm trying not to stay on long because some people will say, can you please stop doing those long videos? Or I just can't. I ain't watching that, So I try to compensate everybody. But what I will do if this video is too long, family, is I'll make clips. It'll be like 1 minute clips, 2 minute clips, okay? And I'll share them after the video. They are talking about 1953 Morocco. Okay. Oh, yes, the French colonized nation in that land called Morocco over there in the African region. They're different. Are you saying they're different people? I dropped the link, but I need you to come on before we go. Somebody wanted to come and sing for us. Come on. Cooter Ruler says, I share your post, so they'll stop calling me crazy. Thank you. I appreciate that. I know that's right. People not, I don't think they're going to continue to call us crazy when those military tribunals come on the television, when those Nasara benefits drop and people start becoming wealthy. I think they're going to understand what we've been talking about when we talk about Nasara and Jasara. Hi, Gentile. Oh, we got a special guest in the room. Come on in. Hey, King.
How you doing, my sister?
I'm great. So nice to meet you.
Hey, look. Wow. Yeah, I'm a poet, right? So, I got a lot of stuff, but it was something specific I just wrote recently. It's called God of Recovery, right? And it's for anybody that's like on the sober tip, like people that's like they're kind of in like recovery stuff like that. That type of stuff.
Okay, we want to hear it. Come on.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Okay.
Hey, sis, let me tell you something too, sis.
Okay.
You look, I got a cut. I'm gonna tell you how I found you. I was on YouTube and I said, that looked like my cousin. You look like my cousin, like y'all could be twins. And I was like, is this my cousin? She got a channel now? And I went on there, I started listening to you, and I'm like, oh my God, like you was kicking serious science about, because I don't get down, the government and all that stuff. And, it's not real. It's not real. And I've been learning a lot. And like I study, like I learned a lot from online. But I used to it's a brother named Abdullah Bey, right? And he had a class for government and stuff like that. I was going to his, because he getting it started for us putting our matriarchal government back together. So
I've spoken to him. I've spoken to Abdullah.
I was going to his classes for a while, and I learned a lot. And one thing I heard on the brother E.T.s say something about being a national, and I was like, it just like opened up, because I was wondering about that. I always wondered about that, as far as like us, how do we supposed to be putting on our passports and all that stuff like that? But I'm sorry, I'm in Baltimore.
It's okay.
But
you're in Baltimore?
Yeah, I love my home. But it's it get a little wild sometimes. That was the
lot going on.
Yeah, it's a lot going on. But
we want to hear your poem, brother.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. I got you.
Yes, I'm excited. I used to write poetry in my younger years.
Hey, look, I got you. Look, I got on the regular TV. I got you on my regular TV, right? Um, I see and his wife. I was I just seen you on the live, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna come on.
Hold on. I gotta call up some. Hold on 1 minute. Somebody's at the door. Yes. Yes. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Hi, honey. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mama. Thank you, baby. You can open it for me.
Someone had you a package.
Mhm. Sometimes they get packages to the wrong person. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. I got about 5 minutes, brother. I need to go and feed my grandbaby.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, here we
Okay.
go. It's going to take 5 minutes anyway. It's a 5 minute pause. So,
Okay.
okay, go to recovery.
Hmm.
Bear with me. Let me put my glasses. My reading glasses.
Okay. Gloves.
Okay, go to recovery. When it needs to be said, then it usually is in its right time. For example, the configuration of the exact set of circumstances linking these rhymes. An emotional mountain climb, we're going to talk about it on my dime. Light bulb illuminating flash moment bright enough to make anyone watching go blind. They say, what does destiny, luck, or chance, and force of willing into existence look like combined? Or how about the combination of elements, mathematical equations, scientific simulations? Don't mind the mind of all any other great, wondrous, articulate thinking minds. Of course, some of this info, wisdom, and knowledge just too deep. So in order to understand, it must be rewind and listened to and studied numerous times. This is trigonometry, not tomfoolery. Death to all dumb fake fuckery. I cock back the hammer and squeeze until I kill what Uncle Ronnie called porch monkey. Make them look deaf in the eyes from down on bended knee. Now they nerve shot or have I tested the reserve nerve spot
Mhm.
and they can't control their pee. Some saying this is not is that saying some of this not exactly easy for me because I'm in a recycling 100 trees, but I don't feel like I'm wasting paper writing out recipes for daily disease. White magic with dark applications creating spells to bring evildoers to stop heart and seas. Remember the Titans, revenge is a dish best served cold when eating my appetite to get easily appeased. But I'll take it hot and fresh off the stove when we ride on our enemies. Okay, that's the first part. It's hidden truth, mystery wrapped in a riddle, hidden in plain sight inside of an enigma. Who ready to eat? Cause there's brain food from the store what I brought for dinner. Till I fought and earned my seat at the table, no fable, Aunt Mabel. Some of y'all voices and opinions of chopped onions and liver. Actually, it's not a tear, it's a majestic throne inherited from my flesh, blood, and bones. Oh, now you quiver. Learning that I worked for something that was already mine to deserve it, because did I deserve it? Honorable is my inner. Can you say you'd have done the same? Smoke that one over your brain, crash 9/11 plane, sign of the time re-enter. Two of my modern day and top movie, Multiverse of Madness, and the 2025 movie named Sinners. Clean slate, first line, blank, back to categorizing the current event situations occurring in real time in all adventures. All this time, they never thought I'd make it out. All this time, they've been trying to hold me down. Shout out to Lil Durk, the USA Corporation, criminal justice, so-called systems of clowns. A rainy Tuesday afternoon, the sun's still out, the devil beating his wife. Hear that sound? A rainy thunder in my mind's ear, pound. Look how long the rainbow stretched from the clouds, possible touchdown to the ground. An array of beautiful colors on a watery, wet, sunny day. How you like me down? To the
Mm.
ground, and an array of beautiful colors on a watery, wet, sunny day. How you like me down? Detox is a motherfucker, but I'm trying to make the most out of it. Gotta hold my ground. Any moment I can snap, crackle, and pop. Most of the people in the beginning stages of recovery so tightly wound. Why am I? And while I'm in another facility, I'm working on something to get it right, recapture and reciprocate light lost and found. God is good orderly direction, group of drunks, gift or desperation, various forms of intuitive perception, protection. There's been a suggestion a great tablet to read for the soul to feed is the triangle of self-obsession. When lifting weights, it can be whatever minuscule or major amount you could be lifting as a health obsession correction. The first week, it'll probably be heavy, but the second week, it'll be lighter as natural strength progression. The weight didn't get lighter, you got stronger. This is a metaphor for physical, mental, spiritual aggression. Because of recovery, we always learn in new ways, constantly discovery. But what about a such thing as positive progression? Routine and structure are tools to help virtual instruments. They cover a multitude of sins, righteous insurrection, good energy rising up to permanently cane the conqueror and topple the addict inside regime, but mirror reflection, perfection. Because if you always did what you always done, you will always be what you always been. Change you must or die you will. Forget about committing sins. Keep it simple and do something different. Make amends. Too many in a rehab spot be on their best bullshit, mean mugging, bitter, no sweetness, or a stupid grin. Walking out displaying the same addict behavior they had that got them pinned in the sad, sorry, sick place walking in. Too much jailhouse mentality. Most of these fellas need to grow from boys and learn how to be men. Not going to hold you because I've been to several detox spots and had numerous ego, testosterone, pissing contest run-ins. Not to say the ladies don't be off the hook, getting all kind of crazy and ratchet, miss unladylike hashtag trends. But no, this is supposed to be about recovery, redemption, rebirth, recalibrated reconception, our addiction in remission. Remedy, remorse, because nobody had aspiration visions of becoming alcoholics or dope fiends, just bad decisions. When a hamster first get on the wheel, it's not a big deal. It's fun for real. Intricate snake snare made with precision. So many live stories told with repetition. It wasn't a trap that caught the rat. It was a tease. Stop playing and start listening. Third quarter of my life will determine the outcome of my existence mission.
Wow, beautiful. That's your story about recovery. Is that recovery from what? What did you get recovery from?
Anything, sister. Whether it be drugs, alcohol. It's so much that afflict our community right now. But
Mm.
it's just for anybody that's people be hooked on food and all type of stuff nowadays. But it's just for anybody that's trying to live a life of just sobriety and anything like that. Because I got friends and family that's gone now. I got a friend, he was like a brother to me. His name is Laurie. And he passed, and he was like a
I'm
year
sorry
younger
to
than me.
hear that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we get hooked when we're young, and nobody know what's going. We think it's cool, and
I'm so
I know that
sorry.
that the
But I'm
weed
happy to hear
right,
about your recovery. I'm happy to hear. And I wish I could stay longer, brother, but my granddaughter's coming in here saying, I want to eat. She's hungry.
sister.
Thank you so much
I'm
for
telling
sharing
you
your
that
gift.
we appreciate you doing
You're
what
welcome.
you're doing, sister. My God, it's like, and
You're welcome.
it's really healing because we need to hear some stuff about getting everything back. You know what Tupac said, what they owe us, because
That's
this
right.
is ours, and it when the righteous inherit, everybody else gonna be happy too, because the people, the 1% that got everything, they don't want to share anything with nobody, and I feel like when our people get it back the way we supposed to have it, then it's gonna be better for everybody because
I agree.
what we did is
Everybody's gonna get back what was stolen from them. Everybody. So thank you so much, brother. My granddaughter's ready to eat. I've been on for over 3 hours. I really appreciate it. I can say I have people in my family that struggle from drug addiction. So one of the things I'm going to do is create humanitarian projects, and that's an illness that's or choice, whatever, however you say it, that's very close to my heart. And I really appreciate you reading about recovery. That means a lot to me. I think the Most High allowed me to go through that so that I can help cure the people that struggle with those things, with
hey,
drugs.
so I'm working on this right now, right? See what it's called?
What's it
Affirmation.
called?
Affirmation.
Afric Affirmations. Yes. I love that.
Can I come back?
Okay, brother, we have to bring you on another time. I have to go feed my granddaughter. Okay. I love you and I appreciate you so much.
I
And we've heard
appreciate
from
you,
Brother
sis.
Ronald to share his poem about recovery. And I'm sure it made him feel really good to get that out and share it. Yes.
Thank you for the opportunity. You look just like my cousin. You know, you're gonna be my family, sis. I'm telling you.
Somebody said we have the same nose. One of the soul tribes said we got the same nose.
Seminole. Mama was Seminole.
Okay.
She never let us forget who he was in Pensacola, Florida. And it's just it's in my blood. Her right here, her name Pearline. She raised
Pearline.
me.
Oh,
My
beautiful.
grandmother. But I never called her grandma a day in my life. She was mama. So
Wow.
she raised me, and she never let us forget about us, our heritage. I've been looking more into my heritage now and my bloodline.
Good.
And stuff like that. And it's good to just stay out here. Please keep doing what you're doing and giving us this information because
You're welcome.
It gives me hope. It gives us
Yeah,
hope.
yeah. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you, brother. I love you so much. I trust you'll have an amazing day. Okay. I'm going to put you back in the background so I can talk to the soul tribe. But thank you so much. God bless you. Heaven smile on you. I really appreciate you.
Thanks, sis.
Drop your Cash App in the link so we can send you something.
Okay. Thanks, sis.
All right. Bye-bye. Family, thank you so much for being patient here from our brother Ronald. Mike said, Dr. Kia, you are hilarious giving folks the link, putting folks out there. The Silver Soul Tribe is so funny. Yeah, I know. Every now and then I'll do that. And I've been told, make sure I screen people before I let them come on. I hear what you're saying. Every now and then I just want to give people a chance to express themselves. I hear what you're saying, Sister Arlene. I love you so much for your advice. Great show, Dr. Kia. Fire was put, Brother Mike said. All right, family. And so many people have been here listening to us. And you guys are leaving us. Sister Janine has a hand clap. Yes, we applaud our brother for sharing his work, his gift with the soul family. Sometimes you write to heal, and then you speak what you write to heal even more. And so everybody can't necessarily relate, but it's sometimes healing for that person. It's healing for the people listening, but it's healing for that person to speak from their soul, and all those words and all that frustration, all the things that they've endured coming out is just a great way to feel better and have high vibrations. So some of you are poets and singers and writers and speakers. Whatever your gift is, use it, family. Use it for the healing of yourself and other people. So fire, thank you so much. Yeah, I gotta go feed the grandbaby. I like y'all. I thought the brother was gonna put his Cash App in the here in the comment section so I could send him something. I like to compensate people for sharing their gift. I don't see it. But family, thank you all so much. Mr. Ronald said, thanks, my sister. All right. You're welcome. All right, family. I appreciate you being here. You've been very gracious to allow me to speak for this amount of time. I will. Thank you. Somebody says you're amazing. I will make shorts from this video. So look out for the shorts, and there'll be 1 or 2 minute videos that just different parts of this video that I'll put up on my YouTube channel, but it'll be in the short section. Okay. So go out, family, and make this a great day. I am so happy and so appreciative that you all were here. I see y'all talking about the sun and the moon. The silver correlates to the moon, that's feminine energy, and gold correlates to the sun, that's masculine energy. So family, having said that, I love you. Thank you so much. I'll go in the background, but I will play the music back there. And if you have a question or something, I'll throw it up on the screen. I love you so much. Happy Sunday. Oh, you're going to go to sleep on a Sunday night and wake up to a Monday morning to a whole new reality. Peace.
Dr. Kia preached, shining wisdom's light, teaching soul tribe how to see through the night. Ancient scriptures and bloodlines she knows, spreading truth wherever she goes. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Through her channel, knowledge flows, breaking chains that hold us close, teaching paths to abundance and wealth, guiding others to free themselves. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. From currencies to investments divine, she's helping her tribe to realign with wisdom, ancient and new, showing what we all can do. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia lights the way to a new and brighter day.
Good night, Soul Tribe. Go and make this a great day. The grandbaby and I are going to eat us some vegan hamburgers and some fries and maybe some broccoli. Say bye.
Bye-bye.
I love y'all. Bye-bye. Thank you for being patient.
You too.
Oh, somebody really enjoyed Brother Reggie said, Brother Ronald, I like it because he sounds battle rap style and a good rhymer. Okay, peace, family. We love you.